do an Escher-esque venture, that needs to happen in one of the episodes.
Where the episode is rolling, it has to be rolls based on the commentary, based on what happened the last time.
Yeah, but anything in the commentary becomes canon as for like what actually happened. Like you retcon everything on episode 2.
That's good. I would also like an Escher-esque event where your character voice transforms into the worst possible version of itself. Like, make your character voice the worst audio poison you can think of.
Emo Phillips, here we go.
No, that's your character voice for the whole session.
No.
Everyone sounds like Lemon Grab.
Well, I was working on a character voice for Guy Pope, and I settled on this. It's sort of a gangsta voice, but a little higher pitched, rather than the sort of lower pitched thing you usually get with that kind of character.
It also sounds like a secretary to me.
Well, it's kind of like a Queen's guy, but a little bit different. I was originally like, I got a little kid. What about a little kid like this? Oh, that's going to be completely fucking terrible.
It sounds like Buppo Part 2.
Oh, God.
My God, why?
All right, since Wife said we're live, would we like to get started?
Well, it's not time yet. It was just how do we sound, Wife? Or anyone?
How do you know?
No, I mean, are our levels good on the stream? I can't check because then I would have to mute all y'all and then blah blah blah. And also, my levels matter, I guess.
Well, I think also answering this question 10 to 15 seconds after we ask it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Latency.
Banter.
We have 3 minutes for funny banter, and then afterwards, no humor.
How many minutes?
This will be no fun at all.
I think Mayor Adams' policies are really fucked up, honestly, guys.
Yeah, totally insane.
Wait,
Speaking of maniacs.
Some great comedy.
No, I really think his right to shelter thing is like super fucked up, guys.
Audio something, by the way.
You make it sound disingenuous when you laugh like that, Ben.
Okay. You're like, I'm going to do some comedy. Here's something depressing.
Yeah, it's fine. It is depressing. Oh, did that get caught on stream when I read that speech that he did? Where he was like the first Persian mayor, I think he's.
I'm sorry, he said that?
Oh man, do I have to pull it up?
Amazing.
Is he?
It was at a holiday. It made no sense.
Is he Persian? I don't know. He could be.
I don't believe so.
No, that's not why. It was because I was the first. He was like the first mayor to go to this holiday or whatever. And
whatever.
Be with these constituents, so that makes me the first.
Oh, that's so much worse.
What? And this speech is on the website. I mean, I could do another reading of it, but I'm not going to.
I mean, I saw one of the moon rocks once. Does that mean I'm from the moon?
Yes.
Yeah,
Sweet.
I think we can all.
You were invited to the
bad example, man.
He also said he liked all the stands love him, I believe, in reference to like Kazakhstan and Pakistan and
K-pop stands.
Can Dracula go to the moon?
Dracula has been to the moon.
Well, there's no water on the moon, so probably.
If no one lives on the moon, you can't be invited to the moon.
I think in the Marvel comic book universe, Dracula's secret base is on the moon. I'm pretty sure.
Who invited him there?
I do not know.
I think that's the dark side of it. It can't be like facing the sun though, because that would be obviously bad.
It's Nasavania.
Is Dracula pro or against like the abolishment of property?
Probably pro.
No, he's very against because he was literally like a king.
Against the abolishment, but for property. Yeah.
Yeah, but like if there's no property, can he not go anywhere? Or
I feel like he would have bought less England real estate in the book if he was against property.
Not necessarily. He could just be. He could have been trying to like make an anarchist enclave. We don't know. He didn't get there.
That's true. And I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you pesky kids.
Pesky
If it
capitalists.
weren't for that meddling Anthony Hopkins.
I'm doing imperial wars and putting guys' heads on pikes for good.
Helsing's like.
Can Dracula add someone on LinkedIn, or can he only confirm requests?
Oh shit! Can he
Van
can
Helsing's
he
fan?
DM people? Does he have to be invited into your DMs?
Sorry,
No,
But if someone's DMs are open, is that an open invite? It'd
maybe
be
true.
very sad if all of these questions could be answered by reading Bram Stoker's Dracula, but we
It's a
just
very
refuse.
forward-thinking book.
We just refuse to.
Refuse to.
The original audience is like, what is a direct message? Also, what is a computer?
He can send letters in the novel, so I imagine then that, like, well, does electronic communication count as a letter communicate, or does it count because the language of sliding into one's DMs implies sort of unearthly physical presence?
Yeah, that he can't go into the place because he's not invited, but his letters can go wherever they want.
Okay.
How much of an extension of your body is a phone? I guess is really.
It's 601.
Well,
Order in the core.
previously on.
And I have posted us.
Previously on the our stream here. Well, the episode that you may have seen most recently, if you were watching on Twitch or if you were watching the back catalog on YouTube, would have been from the Worshipful Qadida team, which was an exciting adventure, which will have some implications for this venture, because we are back in the Free Qadida team. And Ben did a nice little write-up for us in the Discord here. And so we should.
Oh, did I post it yet? Here, I'm going to post it.
Yeah, you can post it there.
There's the write-up.
So we can walk through that. And the chat that comes through on the on Twitch is the chat that's in our little channel here. Cool. All right.
Problem is, I guess it's not gonna. Well, whatever.
But we'll still walk through some of it so that way, to make it more exciting. So the big overarching picture is that there is, in our Stillfleet universe, there is a domed city called Qadida that is divided up between Worshipful Qadida, a sort of colonial extension of the Worshipful Company of Stillfleeters, think Dutch East India Tea Company, and then Free Qadida, which is a sort of emerging social democracy, maybe going into authoritarian communism, maybe anarchism, hasn't quite decided yet. But
what's outside the dome?
Outside the dome is a asteroid/dwarf planet. It is disputed, but based on its size, what type?
Is there air out there?
There is no air out there.
No.
There is just space.
I need to breathe that.
But there's air inside the dome where you all are. So you can breathe inside, but outside, not so much.
We never talked about who made the dome.
No one knows who made the dome. That is, someone made the dome long ago. But in this venture, it's not so much who made the dome physically, but who makes the dome a home. That's really what we want to think about here. And who's trying to make the dome more like a home for Free Qadidans is Yellow Tent Shaver, right? Yellow Tent Shaver has risen to the top of Free Qadida government and is about to announce a plan of dual easing. Since Free Qadida is a emerging social democracy, but also has some issues with sort of rising authoritarianism, surveillance, police states, things that to the average American watching this are totally unfamiliar concepts.
Mm-hmm.
But what is going on here is that Yellow Tent Shaver wants to announce a policy of dual easing. Dual easing is letting up on law enforcement, but also because Free Qadida is a closed economy to create more surplus in industrial production to allow for trade with other empires, states, companies, perhaps including the Worshipful Company. Here in Free Qadida, the team here has been tasked by the Free Qadida Information Agency. Think the kind of spy hunters or Stasi, something like that, has been tasked to deal with an assassination plan from the Worshipful Company. The Worshipful Company wants to assassinate Yellow Tent Shaver. This team, assigned by the Free Qadida Information Agency, has two major objectives. Their first objective is to stop the assassination. Yellow Tent Shaver should live. And the second objective is some of the information about this assassination was leaked through a mole, a snitch, through some way. And the Free Qadida Information Agency would like you to sort of trace it back to the source. How did you get this information? And let's see. Last time, in that first session, there was a mole hunt that was conducted, and we learned that Aram Yunus, who was part of a minor political faction known as the Gruget, who was soon to be sidelined and also an agent of the Free Qadida Information Agency. And we found that Aram Yunus was passing secret messages, perhaps for the mole or as the mole. One of D.O.G's robot bodies is waiting in the dead drop that Aram Yunus had used to see if there's more information.
There was a guy standing on a bread box, and that was the dead drop. And then we bothered the guy enough that we got into the dead drop.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we didn't actually have to bother him, but we felt obligated that this man created whole cloth by a person we know. We might as well bother him. I mean, we did get in the dead drop first and then bother him.
You found out the dead drop first, but you bothered him. You bothered him as a way to make things expedient for you to get inside the Collective Agora building so you could talk to Aram Yunus.
Mm-hmm. We went and talked to his boss, who was a big dipshit and signed his initials on the leak in the dead drop.
Yes, if you need information from the last stream, if you didn't watch our last stream, Aram Yunus, total dipshit. That is basically what you need to know about Aram Yunus up to this point. And as we were leaving, we were then heading over to the venue, which is Kantaris Station, and we were heading over for what you plan to do in order to sort of like harden the facility. This is where Yellow Tent Shaver is going to give his speech announcing dual easing to the broader public. And so your job to go over there was to kind of harden it, right? To make it a little bit more complicated, or to survey the place. Probably a little of both. So as you're walking over there, maybe we could reintroduce our characters and their classes, so that way people have a good grasp of what's going on.
You go in alphabetical order?
Sure.
Oh, that's me then. Right?
I think it would be Andro, then Doug, then Guy.
Oh, you're right.
Ethan, do you want to go?
Sure.
Who are you?
It's funny. Are you reading?
So I have a question about the class power knows the files. It's passive, and I know when people are lying. Can this also be applied to conversations that we've had after the fact, or is that something that really only is in the encounter itself?
The power itself would be that you would be in the encounter. But if you find some physical evidence, you could use the power that you also have of hooks, red strings, and cork boards to start putting clues together.
Right. I'm saving that one for some more data. So I think that I am going to.
Wait, but who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah.
Why I'm Andrew. Stalwart, enthusiastic cartographer of this great city of ours. I'm a detective, and I'm a Hook, who is a detective, a zealous cartographer, who is obsessed with fully mapping the city of Qadida, an impossible goal. He's a member of the Free Qadida Info Agency, and the only thing separating Anshiro from being described as a grizzled ex-security officer is time and grizzle.
Huh.
So anyway, I think that I am going to burn for grit, and I'm going to spend one round doing reconnoiter, which allows me to assess a nearby structure or situation, and then also how they are armed. And I would like to do that based upon the layout of the security intake for the building that we have just exited from, because past our initial associate, it was very obvious that there was a heavily armed guard and that the real action was happening somewhere else in the building. So I would like to sort of suss out a bit more of the layout of that place for future use.
Okay, so you're talking for reference in the sort of collective agora in the sort of main hall, the main government hall. For context, it's sort of, since it's sort of like branching past, like you imagine kind of like almost like arrows, like, you know, sort of like as in bow and arrow, arrows pointing to the center, branching off. We were on the outside, and you're in the center of it is like much more heavily guarded, and you're trying to check the inside that's more heavily guarded as to like what's going on.
Right. Seeing if there's any way that I could suss that out using the requisite grit burn to see if I can figure out like what might be happening beyond even what we saw.
Got it. So can you read that power for me, please?
Reconnoiter. Burn 4 grit and spend X rounds where X is equal to your level or lower. Study a nearby structure or situation, for example, a crowded souk or caravanserai. You learn the layout of the structure or a character of a situation, who is there, how they are armed. You do not, however, learn anyone's levels or class, etc. And then after doing this, us and our companions will gain plus X, I'm assuming X being the level, on move sneak checks for the future. And I believe that will last for 4 rounds.
And so as you're reconnoitering, like, do you have to pass any, so you do have to pass sneak checks or you do not?
If in the future we need to do move checks or sneak checks, we will gain X. So let's see. So that's X is equal to my level. So that would be, we're at level 1 or 3. I cannot remember.
We're 3.
We're at 3. So then it would take 3 rounds to do this. And then we would gain a +3 on move and sneak checks.
Cool. And so for right now, what you kind of get is the layout of the building. You get the sense of like, you can kind of like, when you see people in the building, like you can kind of say like there's people there, maybe how they're armed, but you can't tell things like for a mechanic's sake, like you could look at somebody and be like, that's a banshee. That's a...
Right, but I wouldn't know they're a level 4 banshee doing X, Y, and Z, and I wouldn't know like, it's not a banshee power, so I wouldn't know like the duct works. I wouldn't know where the electronics are, but this is more about like the lay of the land, the layout, and the armedness of the guardsness.
There is a witness power that lets you figure that out, like classes and stuff. I think it's assess.
There's assess where you can see people, and then like reconnoiters, like you can see structures and like layouts more. But yeah, so
a banshee and a witness and a hook operating together would be able to really get a full situational awareness. News you can use.
So as you go through, is there any specific information that you're looking for? Because odds are good since you can get the structure pretty easily. And since you don't have to pass any sneak checks, you kind of see that basically the building itself does, it kind of like, there's no hidden doors. Like it's a government building, kind of see what you see is what you get.
Okay.
In sort of going toward the hallway, in the center is where there are a lot more armed guards. And you get the sense that these are pretty top tier, pretty attentive. Like they're, the same way that when you like, in the same way with the worshipful company things is like their armor all matches, their guns are all in good condition. Like this is like,
so they're quite serious about their endeavor.
They're quite serious about their endeavor. Would the power let you get like kind of, you could probably get past the guards, but you can't do any actions. Does that sound about right, the way the reconnoiter works?
Yeah.
Like you can't snatch anything or take anything.
No, it is really just taking time to try and assess things in order to gain bonuses on movement and sneak later should the opportunity arise. What?
Ultimately, that power is case the joint.
Yes,
it's case the joint plus ultra.
The inside on the other side of the guards, which you kind of recognize, is that these guards are like a very hard shell. And then inside the building is inside the that sort of inner chamber is quite a lot of activity of sort of like smaller offices, smaller things, almost like cubicles going back and forth, like a hallway of just cubicles. And the thing that you recognize, and you can just see this, is that you see a lot of information. You see a lot of like banners and dialogue and things like that from the workers' bureaucratic unit.
Workers' bureaucratic
Union. Sorry.
Got it.
And this is the faction that Yellow Tent Shaver is associated with. You get to see that there's a lot of people like sort of working out policy like they're working on stuff. They're kind of working on policy documents. There's like almost as if like it kind of feels like, to describe it in 21st century terms, it feels like a campaign office.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that type of activity is going on. You see people that look like they're planning events. If you were to go sort of deeper in, you would start to see that people are like more well dressed, well put together, and you get the sense that these are the more important people. You don't know what, and in this space, I'll give this to you, since you've seen their picture from the report that you got from Wust when you got the job. You see that Yellow Tent Shaver is in there.
Even though we learned that, I thought we were told that Yellow Tent Shaver was at their home, right?
They're going to be in one place or the other, and this is one of the places they could be.
Okay.
Well, so now we know their schedule.
Right. Currently, you know that Yellow Tent Shaver is in this building.
And the speech is tomorrow, right?
The speech is tomorrow.
I wonder if we can get him to hole up in this space that's clearly heavily armed. As a safer location than anywhere else.
That you probably could, but you can't act from reconnoiter. Like, you know he's in there, so you'd have to get past the first set of guards and then past all the other people if you wanted to do this without being seen.
So, are you sure you want to do that, though?
Okay.
And as you're leaving, you get the strong sense that you see little, like, party pins, basically, that just says something. We'll make it simple. Like, it just says, like, you know, Workers' Bureaucratic Union. So, like, everyone is has a sort of pin, like a party pin. And if you don't have those pins, like, if you got past the guards, there'd be the pins. And then if you got into the inner circle's not that big. So they would be like...
They'd notice.
I think while this is happening, as Andrew is passing one of those guards and sort of casing the joint and figuring out what's going on, you see talking to one of the guards, Guy Pope, that's how it's pronounced. You see how it's spelled, but it's pronounced Guy Pope, who is a child. He appears to be like a 10 to 12-year-old boy. The image I have for him on my character sheet is Will Wheaton in Stand By Me pointing a gun at the camera. And he is a human, a fleeter, which is a spaceborne human. And his class is a jackal/mouse, which is essentially a like thief/charlatan. We learned he wears sort of like a long coat over like a long gray, like black coat over a spacesuit. It's essentially like work clothes for mining outside the dome. He was recently released from prison, we learned last session, despite being a child. And maybe, I don't think I said why he was in prison as a child yet.
And just barely a child, which he is, definitely a child.
Oh, he's definitely a child. There is no way that he is anything other than a child. Yeah, that's for sure. There's nothing else going on with this character. So you see Guy talking to one of the guards, and he sort of has approached him like orphan style, like orphan coming out to ask for a bowl of soup. But it's like the kid on the airplane, like walking up to the pilot, like, "Hey, Mr. Pilot, can I get some pilot wings?" But it's like, like, "Oh, that's a real nice pin you got there. You got any kid-sized ones?"
So you're going up, and who are you going up to?
It's like one of the guards who's wearing one of the WBU pins.
The guard is just not even looking at you. Just doesn't acknowledge.
Oh, listen, I really respect you doing great work in your job. I really respect adults like you. I wish I could be like you someday. I know that you're gonna do great work today and tomorrow. We are here to help you. And but I would take one of those pins. I'm just a little kid. You give the kid the pilot wings, right? I'm a future WBU member.
The guard,
Actually, no.
one of the guards starts to kind of look at the other guard, and they look down and they say, "Listen, young comrade, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but you're not allowed in here."
Well, I mean, I am in here. We're all working together in here.
We are working together as comrades, but not in this. But you work on this side. We work on the other side.
No, I'm not trying to get in. I'm just trying to get a little pin. You got an extra pin?
And he looks at the back of the guard as, "We don't have any pins here."
And I'm looking at their pins, and I'm like, "You got some pretty nice pins, guys. You got some pretty beautiful pins."
The guards actually don't have pins.
Oh, they don't have. I thought you said they did have pins. That's why I started this whole interaction.
Pins. The guards don't have any pins.
Okay, retcon. I'm saying this to a guy who's walking in past the guards.
Just like turning, hey, you there also.
Yeah. Oh, it's really wonderful. No, it's great. No, I'm not trying to go in. I'm just trying to get a pin. No, you gotta have an extra pin. Don't they give you like 10 of those?
And they're just walking past because they're all like, they're in their own episode of The West Wing. They're like in a hurry. They got stuff to do.
They talk to kids in The West Wing, don't they? I never watched that show.
I don't think there are children in The West Wing, are there?
I don't know. I didn't watch it. I was in prison.
One of them does stop when you say prison, and they go, "Such a shame. Such a shame." Well, listen, we here at the Workers' Bureaucratic Union, we want to make sure that with Yellow Tent Shaver's leadership, there will be a lot more easing. And then walks away.
Prison sentences? And we cut.
From the hoodie that guy is wearing is like a little rabbit robot. And it's like I don't think this is I don't remember the voice I had. It was something though. It's gonna be this from now on. I don't think. Nope, that's not good. Give me a second, everybody. I don't think this is gonna work out too well. I think we should go to the venue. And I am a duel of Go Down, and I am a series of 64 rabbit-looking robots. However, currently we only have 5. 3 are stacked on top of each other in a hat and a trench coat.
In my apartment.
Yeah. 1 is in Guy's hoodie. 1 is being carried by Argenio. Angelo. I keep saying Angenio because I'm thinking of Arsenio Hall, but Angelo, and I am playing a cherub, which they are an explosives expert, and my goal is to destroy the structures that keep the people underfoot, and so I both literally and physically try to blow them up. And I work for a organization called HCO, the Honorable Company, and they are basically a Maoist cell. Is their like real world analog? Yep.
They're kind of their politics are Maoist in a sense, in the sense of like peasant-led revolution.
Mm-hmm.
They sent some Che Guevaras to Free Qadida to help them become Free Qadida. Yeah.
Yes. And specifically, D.O.G as part of the Honorable Co. Expeditionary Force. Is that right?
Yes.
And just for a little bit of context, the Honorable Co. Expeditionary Force is kind of like closer to a military or guerrilla unit. Like it does more military stuff than like intelligence stuff. That's about right?
Well, I think the idea is that the revolution cannot only be won through conventional war, but you still need people with that knowledge, and so they are in that middle part. I would say that intersection between.
They're kind of they might be describable as an unconventional military, but still more of a military.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like they're in the middle there. They're that transitionary. Well, what's the fucking word? I mean, can you curse on this stream? Yeah, probably.
We did last time.
Yeah. But yeah, kind of like that's where he's going. So he goes around. He's like, "Hey, I see you need this structure brought down," and then he does it.
In a way that like another organization, just for for the purposes of the chat, like the Day Watch is another Honorable Co. organization, and that would be closer to like a spy organization. Like they're going to be doing the spying espionage part, and then the the sort of expeditionary force is a little bit more like we're going to start. You're still doing some intelligence work, but you are doing a little bit more, we'll say, direct explosive action.
Yeah. You're actually trying to do stuff, unlike the Day Watch, which are trying to. I think the expeditionary force are the true materialists of the HCO. That's inner HCO beef for you.
That's actually that may or may not come up later.
I mean, material. That's your
that's
class.
right. Materialists.
Yeah.
All right. So what is D.O.G doing right now?
He's just whispering to Guy. We should go to the next venue. His suggestion, which is where the speech is going to take place, because we only have 1 day left.
Yeah, we gotta check out that other section. This one, the security here seems pretty tight.
Yeah, they don't even like talking to kids.
So it kind of sounds like something that you were told last session is that this was an unlikely assassination place, and now this is pretty confirmed that this is not the assassination place.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Great. I mean, the only other way to confirm if it's good for assassinations is to try doing one, and that's our job is to do the opposite of that.
Yeah.
So let's go to the speech venue.
Yeah, D.O.G is gonna hand you a Desert Eagle and like, you got this, kid. No.
He pulls a Derringer out of his pocket and is like, "I'm already armed," and puts it back in.
I don't have a Desert Eagle, but that's okay.
I do have a Derringer.
Okay.
And I do flash my gun. I'm like, I got it. I got it.
So I'm gonna do a quick screen share, and so that way we can see in the chat. I wonder if hopefully the Twitch people can see this.
They can't yet, but Wythe just has to turn on video participants, non-video participants, watch the stream, and then turn them off again.
Sounds like a lot of work.
So, but we'll at least have it for the players. So where you are is you are in a region known as the Collective Agora. You're sort of in the government building, and where you're headed to is Kantara Station. Kantara Station is a train station. It is one of the two. It is sort of one node is one station that does connect to Worshipful Qadida. There's a train line between Dunyan Station in Worshipful Qadida and Kantara Station in Free Qadida. From a legal perspective, Kantara Station is considered neutral ground. It is neither part of Free Qadida nor Worshipful Qadida. By diplomatic agreement under what is described as the Kantaris Accords, the ceasefire that has been in place for quite a while, and is the main legal framework that keeps Free Qadida and Worshipful Qadida apart, and Free Qadida in particular, like intact and existing as a legal entity. And so you get to Kantara Station. This is going to be the train station where Yellow Tent Shaver is going to give their address. And so in terms of moving on a map, you're pretty much moving from the Collective Agora, which is about here, to this yellow dot, which is about here. So you don't have to do very many encounter rolls because it's a pretty short walk. So I'll stop that so I can move to other tabs.
Do one or
no, go ahead, Jeff.
He still wants to do one though.
Do one what?
An encounter roll.
Encounter roll. Yeah, let's have you do an encounter roll. Let's have you do one encounter roll.
Somebody roll a 1.
It'd be really fun if we don't get there until the end of this episode as well, because this encounter roll just like spirals out of control.
Let's get eaten by an interdimensional frog by accident.
Let's make sure I have the right list that you don't accidentally have the
What do you want us to roll?
That's what I'm pulling up. Computer is slow. Why don't you roll a d20?
Who wants to do it?
Got it.
Okay, I'll do it. 4.
Let me pull up a different sheet there. Sorry, I had the wrong sheets up. Not very prepared for this. So here since you pulled up a 4, what you see is a group of like what are called from people from the workers, sort of the Workers Security Bureau, right? This is a faction. They act as like a volunteer police force, right? Their job is to try to do something that is, they're like cops, but not cops, if that makes sense. They're trying to
Are they just neighborhood watch?
Yeah, they're kind of like a neighborhood watch.
Oh yeah.
And their major job is they tend to like resolve disputes. For a meta thing that most of you would know since you're familiar with the Andrew, you would know them kind of from your time as a sort of association there. They tend to do things through mediation and dispute resolution rather than direct violence. But they are authorized to use violence and to defend themselves or to defend other people.
Yeah, don't I know it?
That's what?
Yeah, don't I know it?
These are the kind of people that wouldn't be prison guards, but they are kind of there to sort of resolve disputes. And one of them comes up to you. They have what's basically like a sort of like observation point and checkpoint. So what I'm going to have you do is just roll a sort of charisma check to blend in and just act like you belong in this part of the town. And you should pass. It should be you have to roll a 6 or better.
6 or better.
Like, why are we here? That's it?
Your job is to not you see them, right? And are you trying to attract their attention? Are you trying to like talk to them, or do you just kind of want to walk by them? They're not like, it's not a hard checkpoint, but they are like checking things out.
Yeah, I think Andrew is gonna try and I'm gonna roll that high charisma 1d12, but I'm also burning 3 grit. Andrew is sizing himself up, getting his papers all nicely collated in their little package, polishing his badge, just everything he can do to fluff himself up. And that is I think I did it wrong. Is there no backslash on roll in Discord? I cannot remember.
If you do /R, you'll just select an app and then do it that way.
Aha.
You can also plus roll and then just do it. That's what I've been doing.
We have like 6 different dice spots in here. Take your dice spot. I got a 7.
So with a 7, you see at the Worker Security Bureau, like they just sort of like they wave, they just see you as a kid. You know,
I doff my little cap.
Throwing the
And, like-
rabbit underneath.
Yeah. Do you then
People-
doff the rabbit-sized cap?
No, that's not the one wearing the cap.
Okay.
So there's you take off your hat, and then there's a little rabbit that takes off its little hat, and then underneath there's a little rabbit that takes off its little hat.
And then underneath that hat is a gun. And oh no! Here, this is a
Roll
stick
for
off.
initiative.
So I will take a 5 plus 3 is an 8.
An 8. They recognize, and I'm trying to remember what your species is. Let me see. Oh, provincial. So they see like a planet-born human. They've seen
Ish.
Well, go ahead.
Human-esque. Human enough.
Human enough. Like
Yeah, and
like-
Andrew and Guy are humans, and Dog is 64 rabbit robots.
yes.
There's only 5 here, though. No, yeah, 5.
5. They kind of have a seen one humanoid, seen them all. Like probably they know that you're not from here, but they don't suspect any. They kind of have a all right, thank you, move along sort of thing.
Oh, wait, sorry. Is Dog still doing the 3 kids in a trench coat thing, except for the two dogs that are on Andrew and Guy?
Yep.
They immediately spot Dog as a kind of wobbling trench coat formation, because you're trying to blend in and act normal, and being the sort of stacked rabbit robots in a trench coat raises some suspicion. And so there's 2 of them, and they sort of like elbow each other, and they sort of point to you, and they be like, can we see your documents?
Yes.
All right. So and in Qadida, you always have to have your documents, and your documents have a level to them. And what was the level of your documents?
This is the middle one, I believe.
So it was D3. You had a 3, right? So
It
your
was like in the
documents.
incomplete.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to see if they notice anything wrong with your documents. And they got a 6. So they're thumbing through your documents. They're looking through, and they're like, there's a problem with your documents. These don't quite seem in order. Can you confirm for us which documents are missing and their status?
I was not aware that I was missing documents. Whatever I can do to alleviate this problem.
So, could you give us some? You have your identification card. Could you give us your identification card, please?
Do I have an identification card?
You do.
Okay, I give it to him.
Right. And now, out of character, is your identification card? Does it has like dog, species, all that stuff on it?
What does it have? I
You have
hand him
64
I might just
identification
hand him an
cards.
HCO pamphlet.
Hand him an HCO pamphlet. Well, we appreciate the promotion of the honorable company, but this is not sufficient documentation.
Then I hand him an ID.
Then they say, okay. And then they look at the ID card and says, interesting. So, how long have you been with the honorable company?
How long have... Well, that takes me back. This guy's a fire. I can't improv a whole monologue, but imagine I'm doing something
there's a fire, eh? Interesting. That's what you need. Do you have your medical records on you?
Oh, I forgot to go back to the... Oh, I should have went to the doc... Oh, I forgot to go to the doctor, the Collective Agora.
That's unfortunate. The Collective Agora does have excellent documentation when it comes to medical records. Now, We're not the Free Qadida Information Agency. It's not really our job to do documentation. But one of the things we notice here on your identification card is that you don't live here, right?
I do not.
So what we need to know, what you need to understand is that the Collective Agora is really not where you want to be if you don't live here. So if you could tell us where you're going and what you're doing, we'll let you be on your way.
I'm going to distribute these pamphlets.
All right, roll charm to sell this lie.
Is it a lie?
Well, they're going to see if it's not the whole truth, is it?
7.
Okay. They kind of take a look at the pamphlets and they say, all right, we believe you're going to distribute the pamphlets. Where
How
are
was
you
your
going to
last rest, brother?
Where are you going to go distribute these pamphlets?
Not sure. I was just kind of walking.
Just kind of walking. So you come here with a bunch of Honorable Co. pamphlets and no plan of where you're going to distribute them.
Yeah, that's how decentralization works.
They have the... So basically, you're doing this there's decentralization and there's disorganization. And we really can't deal with disorganization here in the Collective Agora. So we're going to have to ask you and your friends over there to leave the Collective Agora as quickly as possible.
Well, I'm getting kicked out. I'm getting kicked out because my friend has a pamphlet.
No,
Yeah,
I mean, that's fine because we're leaving the Collective Agora anyway. They're just telling us to leave. And it was like, I'll leave and I'll go through the checkpoint.
I'll bring up the map for a second again here, but you're not really leaving the Collective Agora because you're going to Kantara Station, which is sort of surrounded by the Collective Agora.
Yeah, but if we just leave in the southernmost, direction.
Yeah, can we pull I don't have to take this, I'm going home. And then just walk in the direction we want to, or are they a little too wise to that?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Roll charm and see if you sell that. And
yeah, I am gonna roll charm, and then I'm also going to I'm gonna get an additional +3 with my ability good cop # you're our bastard. Let's see.
So for this power, it's a persuasion check. So how are you persuading them? Give us the character flavor.
I think that it's going to be all flash and charm. Andrew had gotten distracted by the architecture around, looking at the comings and goings, and as always looking to see the connections between people, and then sort of sees this going sideways, and sort of walks up and he says, oh, this is clearly just a huge misunderstanding. As we're all comrades in the same order, and this here is my superior come from off world recently, is helping with the good work. He himself is the new model of decentralization. He just embodying it, fully body and soul, and is helping me map out the future of this city. Having gumshoed the streets here for so long, I want to help all of our comrades make up, and it just starts going on and on about the good works and the progression of the city, and then I'm gonna roll, see this dice, and I got an 11, so it's an 11 plus a 3, that's a 14.
14. Well, they can't beat that. They got a 1 just for funsies. So
yeah, that's fantastic.
They're absolutely convinced in your sort of they say to you we're sorry that we understand in the spirit of comradeship, but you understand that part of our job is to make sure that we build community here together. We respect the theories of decentralization, but we also recognize that sometimes community does need some sense of belonging to it, and that when people come from outside. We have to be protective, especially these days, if you know what I mean. So we won't.
I don't know what you
Eyes
mean.
on the
I'm
prize.
like 12 years old or something.
Yeah.
So, and they say, like, we will report this up, but could you take our comrade over there at some point and make sure that they get their medical documents in order? That would make sure that-
absolutely. Medical, insurance, RX card, documentation, soup to nuts, all of it. The basis of a revolutionary mindset is, of course, proper documentation. Otherwise, how can we move the material of this world? And just again continues to start raising his hands, clapping them on the back, and bloviating about this and that and the other thing.
they're totally
It is
sold
empty
by it.
rhetoric.
They're totally
I don't
sold
think
by it.
borders
They're
should
like,
exist.
they just say, all right, well, you comrades, you carry on with your business, and good luck to you. And we want to
Borders are
say
a tool of oppression.
we want to say solidarity, but we understand that's not how decentralization works. And we're not cops. Our job is to help mediate disputes.
We
and
didn't
provide
call you cops.
self-defense.
I just said borders are a threat to the freedom of every sentient being.
That's right. That's absolutely right. That's the future-minded mindset we should all. That's the grind set we should all be having, moving forward, not backwards.
Grinding is the reason. No grinding.
No
Well, you
grinding?
should grind outside the border of the dome, and I do actually respect that one border because it's the border that keeps the air in. But that's more of a
I do not
practical
need air.
concern.
Yes. all borders must fall.
I
even
have
ones
the ultimate
separating.
freedom. I just wish you could have it too.
Yeah, that would
He
actually be
looks to
pretty
the
cool.
sky. All of the rabbit heads look to the sky.
And
That's
they say we appreciate the idea of borders, the idea here, or that your dispute of borders. We don't think about it as borders, but we do recognize the community does have to have belonging and not belonging. Some of us have elected not to belong to community. After all,
That's totally great. Here's some pamphlets. Like starting to walk away. Come, nephew, and takes
Yes,
guy.
uncle.
Yeah, let's go. Okay, well, sorry for taking up so much of your time. We just get very excited about these things. Okay, not a violation.
You are
of
my
anything.
mother's brother.
Moving on.
and as you're walking away, you do overhear them say, like, "Yeah, we didn't check the other guy's papers. Do you think they're actually nephews? I don't know, man."
No, I'm the nephew. He's the uncle.
And they've completely, they start to walk away, and they're like, hey, wait, the kid is the nephew? Is the older guy the nephew? That's a weird kid. I know, right?
Those fucking cops think that you can be nephews of each other.
You can.
Andrew, yeah. Andrew leans down. Is like, guy, you're not fooling anyone. Okay, let's keep moving. Everybody.
I'm not fooling anyone about what? I'm not fooling anyone about what?
Nothing at all.
What am I not fooling anyone about? What? I'm just a little kid. I'm just a little kid.
Just a little guy.
Little kid with
Just a little kid
5
guy.
o'clock shadow.
That is not. I do not have 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah,
I wish.
No, I just keep
I
imagining you
wish
with
I
one.
had 5 o'clock
Like
shadow.
It's just a kid with stubble, like a little kid, like 10-year-old kid with just stubble.
Little kid who smokes
I do not miss shaving.
All right, so you've managed to get past the
Did I
workers'
say that
security.
out loud? Ah, shit.
As Guy is looking around for a razor that he definitely doesn't need because he doesn't need to shave.
I'm gonna need it in like 2 to 4 years. I don't really know how old I am.
You arrive at Kantara Station. Kantara Station right now, you can get into it and out of it fairly easily since it's on the Free Qadida side. And you're able to get into the building. And what is going on right now is a sort of there's a sort of international food festival that is going on, or maybe like we would say like interplanetary. There's kind of a sort of intercultural food festival is what we'll call it for our sake here. And when you get to Kantara Station, we have a map that Aaron drew for the last game, so that way you can see a map.
Okay, I'll try watching it.
Cool.
Good job, Aaron.
And so
Map
this is the right. And so for those of you who maybe can't see it on Twitch, the map is laid out north to south, where sort of there's an exhibit hall where the intercultural food festival.
They will be able to see the map in a second. Okay. The maps have been coming up, like 10-15 seconds after we start talking about them.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it's not up yet. I'm watching I've got the stream on my phone right now.
I've been watching Ethan's fan the whole time.
Ethan Ceiling fan.
Yeah,
we're all fans of Ethan here.
Yeah.
But what we see here on the map is that sort of the northern part is the exhibit hall. This is where the sort of the larger food festival is taking place. Just east of there is the amphitheater. The amphitheater is where you would assume that, where you would know that you see the setting up of where the Yellow Tent Shaver is going to do the presentation, right? That's where the presentation is likely to take place. Sort of to the west, slightly southwest of the exhibit hall is the departure platform. That's where people tend to leave. And then on the south end of the station where you're coming in is the arrival place, like where people would arrive from the train station. Since this train station only goes back and forth between Worshipful Qadida and Free Qadida, there's not a lot of traffic unless you are doing diplomatic stuff. So it's not like and there is some exchange back and forth of certain types of domestic labor or things like that, but it is not very common. So the arrival station is pretty empty, but the exhibit hall is pretty packed with this intercultural food festival. And the amphitheater, you can see, is also being set up.
It also appears to me, correct me if I'm wrong, that if you are arriving, you have to go through some sort of check. I assume that's little boxes in the middle and at the bottom end to get into the amphitheater. Whereas if you are at the departure station, you have kind of free access to anything on that side of the train, right?
That's what it appears to be. If you're departing, you don't, you've already gotten into the station and you're fine. But if you're arriving because the assumption is you're correct, that if you're arriving from Worshipful Qadida, you have to go through what's detailed here in the south is like a long queue, custom screening. There's a separate office, it looks like, there to get in. So you have to go through a lot of screening on that arrival side, and very little on the departure side.
I remember we got a comm from the guy who hired us. So I'm gonna call him up now.
All right. And so you hear from your comm, and you hear it pick up, and he says, "Report."
Yes, the mole was a Free Qadida Information Agency officer.
The mole was a Free Qadida Information Agency officer. Say again.
Yes.
Say again.
Mole was Free FQIA officer.
Free Qadida Information Agency officer. Okay. This is certainly disturbing. Can you give any type of other identifying information?
Oh, Arm Eunice.
Arm Eunice. Knew it. All right. So, what evidence do you have that he is the mole?
We found the dead drop that you talked about, and they wrote their initials on it, and then we questioned him, and he was unable to lie about it. It was very obvious. He crumpled immediately.
So you have the dead drop, and he said he did it. Did he say who gave him the information?
No, we realized since he was in your organization already, we don't have any power over him, since we're just outside contractors. So we decided to move on to Kantar Station.
Yeah.
Decided to move on to Kantar. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to case it.
I'm going to case it. Well, I'm hoping you're going to do more than case it, because after all, we need to make sure the defenses are nice and hard.
At this moment, when Anjuro was talking through D.O.G because I swallow the comm, so I assume Anjuro is holding one of my bodies up to his ear as a
just
phone.
like up here, holding the comm for him.
Just like
But
holding
me as a comm, like a rat. It's like you have a rabbit-shaped phone.
Just a rabbit phone.
I kind of liked it, like holding it up here like a sort of like a boombox, but the rabbit phone's there. And so
there's just a little guy. It's just right here.
Liz says, "We understand that you found Aramunis. Do you believe Aramunis is the end of the trail, or do you think the trail goes further?"
He obviously knows things, but we had no way of forcing the information out of him. And we only have 1 day left, so we decided we should try to prevent the assassination as physically as possible. Wait, does that sentence make sense?
As physically as possible.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Not just ideas, things.
Understood. So I'll make sure we have that. Understood. So we can question Aramunis. Do you have his current location?
He's at the Collective Agora in his office.
Collective Agora. Outstanding. All right, we will press Aramunis. In the meantime, we will keep you updated with any new intelligence that we have gathered.
Who do we talk to at Kantaris?
Kantaris Station. Inside of Kantaris Station, let me pull down the.
Oh no, the DM notes.
No, DM notes don't have much here. But so goes inside and says, "Oh, we'll make sure there's someone for you. I will calm them so that way that I will calm our people inside Kantara Station so that they know to expect you in the amphitheater."
Mm-hmm. Have a good rest.
I will calm you back if any new information develops.
Mm-hmm. Wait, didn't you say it was one way last time?
It says it. No, he said it goes only to him.
Oh, I see.
You can't use the comm to like talk to. If you gave the comm to one of your other bodies, you couldn't use it to talk between your bodies.
Mm-hmm. So I could already do that.
Mm-hmm.
Talk between my bodies. I mean, they're me.
Would you get like really, really bad audio echo if you did that with phones as well?
It would be like that, but mental.
Maybe. Yeah. I feel like it's more like a. Well, I explained it like as like a RAID, where like network attached storage. Where
that's right, like a distributed.
Mm-hmm. So
you're a Beowulf cluster if Beowulf's persona was a rabbit.
Yes. I'll pull up the
instead of a raccoon.
I don't want this.
Is there a raccoon Beowulf?
No, I just think that's what Beowulf's persona would be, is a raccoon or a badger.
Right. So there's the map again. So
it disappeared for me.
If you enter in through the you could you get a quick ping back from Wust says, what we want you to do is we want you to go in through the departure area. Go in through the departure area. There'll be a free Qadida Information Agency officer there to meet you.
Okay.
You like zoom out and Guy Pope is doing the Far Side comic where the kid is pushing on the like pull door, and it's on the the arrival. That doesn't happen.
And someone opens the door, and it is another humanoid who is standing there. They are in a Free Qadida Information Agency uniform, just like the uniform you saw with Aramunis. And their name is going to be generating a name.
Mother.
I like that.
Is it Mother?
I wish. And their name is Wakola Hammy.
It's a pretty good name.
So on their little badge. And Wakola says, "Hello, come in. Listen, was told us you'd be coming. We have a problem, and we need you to kind of work this out with us.
Yeah, okay, what's the problem?
The problem is we're trying to get these. I know they're our comrades. I know they're our friends, but we're trying to get these this sort of honorable co-expeditionary force people to really take this seriously. And frankly, we're trying to figure out what we can do to make sure that this event tomorrow, this presentation from Yellow Tent Shaver, goes through smoothly and safely. And we've got a bit of an issue that Yellow Tent Shaver's people from the Workers' Security Bureau, they want a lot of public access, and the Honorable Expedition Force and us, quite frankly, we want a lot less access. So we need you to come in and try and figure out what's the best way to sort of deal with this problem, make sure that the site is secure, and how we can secure it.
I will say we just were over there, and they were very serious about not letting people have access to YTS. So I am not necessarily worried about them.
Yeah, but Andrew leans in and whispers to Guy, yeah, but they let us in.
Yeah, but we were working with them.
They let us in.
We're a coworker. Then they didn't let us in. I tried to get it. Well, I did not try to get in, but I was there and they wouldn't let me in.
They kept us at a distance. However, I would say my comrades, the force, safety isn't really their middle name, or is that the idiom?
Or even their, yeah, it's not their middle name. It's at the best
an idiom. Have you heard of those?
It's like a inversion of an idiom. It's an idiom version.
I knew a lot of idioms in prison.
Ricola kind of looks at you and says, look, we recognize that safety is not always your middle name, but is the middle name of the Honorable Co-Expeditionary Force, we let our allies' heads of state get killed?
I think the middle name is Co-Expeditionary.
He tears a page out of the pamphlet.
The middle name of the pamphlet.
No, it's not.
You can clearly see it's not.
Dog is
We do not
furiously
have
scribbling,
rhetoric
like
about
scribbling
heads of
something out.
state here. I swear.
Dog is furiously scribbling out something in each and every pamphlet. Or just doing a little bit of correction. We don't let heads of state get killed.
The only head of state is the people, I would say, but okay. I guess we could
Power
talk
to
to them
them.
about it.
Yeah, well, we have been instructed to not merely case this area, but harden it. And so, yes, harden it we will.
And so Wakola kind of lets you, says like, all right, we'll come in and we'll let you have a view of the amphitheater, and I can give you the lay of the land here, right? We give you the situation and you can decide what's best, and we'll make sure that we implement it.
At this moment,
bring it.
I think a body of a body of dogs comes speeding along. Delivery. Oh, yes. And then the trench coat figure kind of bends down a hand and picks up a bundle. Thank you. No problem. Even though it doesn't have to respond to itself. To be fair, I don't have to respond to myself. That's just for your benefit, because otherwise it just seems off-putting.
Is that your Grubhub?
It speeds away. Yep, that's that.
All right, and in order
I used the power.
All right, so you used a power.
Yeah, that was the I improvised some explosives.
All right, so can you read the improvised explosives power for us, please?
Yeah, technically we did this off stream, but I realize now we're going through everything, so I guess now I should set it up. Basically, I have knowledge of common components and chemicals. I can always find something. I burn 4 grit and roll D reason. And if 1 through 3, I create 1 unstable incendiary, which it's not that great, but
it's fun.
It also might burn me. And then if I roll 4 to 9, I create D2 stable incendiaries, and That's better. And if I roll a 9 or better, I create D4 explosives, and that can inflict D20 damage, or cause all targets in a radius to suffer -6 to all rolls for 4 rounds.
Kind of like
And
that
so,
last one is like a sort of less than lethal option if you wanted to go that way.
yeah, and I made 4. And also if you go back to Argenio's house, you see like Argenio's VCR is like dismantled.
Just all the parts gone.
Yeah.
It's like all the parts are gone, and like some of your probably so all the parts are gone. Some of your like nice, really like expensive, like your nice bottle of alcohol has been drained a little bit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My prized phosphorus collection.
Yeah.
And a couple feathers from your pillow, like your pillows kind of had to be opened, and the feathers had to be sort of like taken out.
Yeah. However, some of the bodies are watching TV, some are still in the closet, some are actually actively making bombs, and some are not.
So it's sort of, are they taking shifts? Are part of you taking shifts, or
Yeah, I
are
think
just
they're
some
all
of them
just like
more
living
really
in your
into it
house
than the
now.
rest of them are?
Are there like 4 bodies sitting around the like kitchen table playing poker?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just gonna put the map in the chat so you all have it up, and available to you. So you've got these incendiary devices that have been delivered to you. And so what Wikola sort of points out to you as a way to make this fast is the dispute is basically saying that the Worker Security Bureau position is they want some access, so they can't harden every single option. They want, YTS to be able to like give a public address, show they're not afraid. And the Free Qadida Information Agency and Honorable Expeditionary Force, they want a hard target, and they've kind of worked through a compromise. And they turn to you and say that they have basically 6 options of what they can do what you can do to harden. And your job as a team is to pick.
Let's hear them.
All right, and I will put them out in the chat as well. And there they are. So
Step 1, blue. Step 2, resin. Step 3.
Basically, the idea is that even though it's an amphitheater, the thing that people always try to do is get high up in the amphitheater, take a sniper shot, take it from a distance. So you could try to say you're going to limit where sniper shots could be taken from. Second option is that someone might just try to rush the stage from the front, right? They're going to kind of do this basically mid-range, try to get into melee range, do a stab attack, something like that. So trying to
like the I forgot his name, the samurai sword guy.
Samurai sword, yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
The third option is basically sort of having detectors around where the lectern and the dais are, like the sort of, you're doing the platform to see like if people will be planting bombs, explosives, like you're sort of patrolling that area. You're making sure that area is secure, who is there, that type of thing. The fourth is on the entrance to the amphitheater, there would be biochemical scanners. These are looking for poisons, toxins, things like that. The fifth is that the Honorable Company's interest in the health science rivals that of the Worshipful Company, and they do have some methods to detect weird activities rising or falling. So if someone were to attack using health science, which the Honorable Company is always concerned about, there would be some not necessarily nullification of that, but some health science countermeasures in preparing for those specifically. And the last option you have is what is called blood nullification. The Honorable Code does have access to some archaea tech that makes those who are blooders, a class in Stillfleet, sort of infected with nanomachines. The idea here is it's going to make those nanomachine-based abilities work less effectively. So it's kind of blocking a sniper shot, blocking a direct rush, blocking things on the stage, trying to prevent poisons, toxins from coming into the amphitheater, health science issues, and then blooder issues. And they say, all right, you can pick we'll do 2 for free, but if you help us, and mechanically this is going to come at a grit cost, which I think we've already done offline.
Yeah.
You can have a 3rd one.
Yeah. I think one other thing.
Think...
Oh yeah,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just saying. I think we did pick these technically already, but I believe we said it would be very embarrassing if he got sniped after everything.
Yeah.
They just sniped him. So I
just the old-fashioned method.
The Honorable Co-Expeditionary Force, like they nod at that, like that seems like a pretty reasonable one, like the most obvious thing.
Yeah, there's like a grassy knoll right outside, right? Like you have to.
It's fake grass, but yeah.
Stillfleet is a universe where there probably is a magic bullet, so.
Yeah, and a different session, I killed JFK. That did happen.
Oh yeah, I wish I was.
Hall Square is named Grassy Knoll Plaza, so it feels like it's really.
I shot a bullet across time.
So you picked that.
We definitely picked biochemical scanners. I think
Yeah.
Guy has just like walked into the closet where they keep all that stuff and is like rifling through it and like, taking like poles out, like setting everything up essentially, like at the checkpoints to scan this stuff. Like has clearly worked with this kind of thing before. Like, no, I know what I'm doing here, and sort of as like he's puttering around under all of this. And I think as he's finishing up, which will probably be at the end of these scenes, he walks through the scanner and it just like beeps really loudly. It's like, and he gives a big thumbs up.
That he was testing it with his own stuff.
It works.
In quotes.
Mm-hmm. All right, and so those are the 2 options you had, and you picked a 3rd one as well, at a grit cost that we did offline. What was the 3rd one you had picked?
It wasn't clear. I did want to check
You said you were gonna be in the dais, right?
I was gonna do the dais myself. It was what I was gonna do.
That's right. So we've got 1 at the drop point. We've got one in the dais.
All right, so you've got 1 in the dais. I mean, the dais thing, if you're going to do that with your character, that's going to be a little bit different than hardening the whole thing.
Oh, right.
So you could do both if you wanted to.
So what should we do for the last one?
If you had like maybe the question is, if you had 1 robot body and like someone tried to kill YTS, would the robot body be able to stop it, or would it be more like the robot body would just see who did it?
Oh, what I was gonna do was what I did technically already was what we said was I did one of those special flashbang bombs, and then from there, because it will stun the people who try to tamper with it if they try to set up a bomb.
Got it.
It will make a loud noise, and then whoever guard can,
Did you use that as the power set trap?
I used improvised explosive, and then I set trap to do it, and I gave the other DM the what do you call it, the
how it works,
what's it called, what the DC is. I don't remember the number it was, but there's a number they have to beat, I believe.
Oh, like if they have to pass a check in order to to not set it off, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully they're not watching. They're probably not watching.
Check.
It's against my reason because I've set the.
Okay. So you set that up. Was there another thing you wanted to like? Did you want to harden the other spaces since you've done that with your powers? What does Andrew think?
So Andrew, this is the point when I think Andrew is going to start like walking around in circles and muttering. He's got his little field notebook, he's writing in, and I think this is when he's going to start doing corkboards and red strings. So I think with this power, I believe it's going to take a couple of hours, so it might be something to come back to in a little bit.
Okay, so he's kind of working on this. Like he's putting some clues together.
Yeah.
So we'll come back to that. And with the other two working alongside the folks here, since you had that third option of what you wanted to do that we worked off screen, you have your sniper, you have your biochemical scanners. What was the third one you picked?
Oh, it was rush. Sorry.
Rush positions. Okay.
Yeah. I scrolled up in the thing.
So as rush positions is picked, you sort of get the idea and you're talking to the Free Qadida Information Agency officers and they're talking back and forth. And in comes in a lot of Honorable Co. and D.O.G, you would recognize them, like Honorable Co. Expeditionary Force members, which you did not expect. Like you did not expect this show of force. And they're not like here aggressively, but they have started to array themselves in front of the platform. Like they're sort of practicing, they're setting up their sort of lines of sight. And the commander walks in one of the commanders of this group of the Honorable Co. Expeditionary Force, and they're going to talk to D.O.G in a second. Do we want to resolve the conversation with D.O.G, or do we want to resolve the conversation with Andrew's powers working in the background, so we'll resolve D.O.G.
Yeah, and it's gonna take a few more turns, I think, based on the timing of it.
Okay. Yeah, I think Andrew and Guy are both sort of like in the background, like setting up equipment. And Guy particularly making very loud noises with sensors.
And so there's a sort of like a commander, like sort of person in charge of the unit comes up to D.O.G. And this person is an officer, so they're expecting a salute, like a sort of comradely salute.
From me?
From you, because this is a superior officer. Even in an army among equals, this is like a comrade who outranks you.
Oh. Mm-hmm. How is your rest?
And
I think that's what the salute is asking how their rest was.
How's their rest? They say, I have been rested well. And they hand you a folder. And they say, rest well, comrade. And they sort of go back to organizing their phalanx here. Inside the folder, you get some information.
Hang on, I didn't say I read the folder.
Okay, well, inside the folder
I'm joking. I did read the folder.
Sorry. I didn't mean to backseat your...
No, I don't know why I'm being combative.
Backseat player here. And what you get from this is that it is a file marked with the seal of the Daywatch. The Daywatch has captured one member of the Worshipful Company team sent to assassinate Yellow Tent Shaver. And
okay.
They have positive ID of at least one of them.
As in, we know the faces of someone besides the one they captured?
They say that they have one and they're working on the rest. But they have one in custody right now. They give you a lead that says if you were to go to the Daywatch offices, you could get more information about the Worshipful Company team.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
That
Do we want to split up and continue here plus that, or do we all want to go together as a group?
I think we should wait for you to finish because you're the guy good at questioning people. I think, right?
Roger.
Aren't you? I believe you have that.
So I'm assuming the corkboard thread strings has to be in the place that it's initiated, or is it the sort of thing that can travel on the road? The way it was written, I assumed it was local.
I kind of conceive of it as like if you have a place where you can kind of read and like be in a calm spot, kind of in the same way for an existing power like listen works.
Mm-hmm.
We're sort of you can't be in combat, you can't be in like running away from something, like, and probably something a little bit more supplies than listen, but less than like the bioengineer, the pure power where you have to have a lab.
Right.
sort of you can't do this in a wind tunnel.
Right. So, but if we're going to a new location, would walking with headphones, not responding to anybody, scribbling in a notebook count, just sort of in their own headspace in a sort of walking trance, or should it really be like I am sticking in the place that I am doing this power in?
I think in this context, we'll let this one happen for the sake of moving a stream forward. But I think for the purposes of if you have an encounter, you can't do much in this encounter.
Right. Or I'll break the power.
Right. Sort of like you can dodge if someone attacks you, but also you can't like use powers or attack or do much else.
Yeah. I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. I can walk and dodge a punch at the same time, but
right. You could walk and dodge the punch, but you couldn't walk and like talk your way out of a, bad paperwork.
Right.
So you're gonna have to stall
well,
that.
it sounds like then in that case, I will come on the road with my compatriots while essentially just ignoring what's going on and muttering to myself.
Awesome.
I wonder how the other side's going.
Well,
they're going down. That's where they're going.
You did learn that one of them got captured, so.
We're going to learn all about them. Their likes, dislikes, turns off, sleep number, firearms preference.
For those of you who are watching, if you want to learn all about this character, you can watch Rachel's character stream. Except the three of you shouldn't watch that.
Well, I desperately want to watch it, but I will not watch it until after the game. I'm being ethical. Gosh darn it.
You're going to be an ethical... the side that's trying to make sure someone doesn't get killed. So...
Right.
Even if
so in a way, it's more ethical if I watch it and cheat, because then I'll stop somebody from... In a lot of ways.
You're achieving a moral... Even though you're cheating at the game, is kind of a moral victory.
That's true. And in the end, isn't that what matters?
It's like I was watching someone play Sid Meier's Gettysburg, and like there was the Confederacy, and they were just getting bodied. And really, it's like a moral victory. If you play badly as the Confederacy, that's good.
I guess. Wouldn't it be a more moral victory of not playing Gettysburg?
The only way to win is not to play.
I mean, sometimes you could choose. We don't always get to choose when we play Gettysburg, and we don't always choose when war comes upon us. Ben, you're muted.
I think it's like quantum leaping into Hitler and doing the right thing, if you know what I mean. Check. Yep.
Right. And so, Ben, while you were gone, a message came through the Daywatch saying that they had captured one of the members of the Worshipful Company assassination team.
And dun.
More information at the Daywatch headquarters. Simultaneously...
Yeah, that was happening right as I left.
Simultaneously...
you missed everything, all of it, everything.
As you're getting ready to sort of pack things up and go over there, the rabbit that has the comm and it starts to vibrate or signal at someone that Wust is trying to call.
You should probably just pick that up, right?
Does dog pick up comms?
I think dog is like vibrating, and you have to pick dog up.
Okay, so yeah, Andrew reaches down and holds the dual, takes his headphones off, and it's like, hello, we're very busy over here.
I understand that. I appreciate that. I know that you've got other business to attend to, but you got to do something really quick, and you got to do one or the other. That YTS's people They want to have a meeting. They want to make sure and go over all the security protocols with you. They want to make sure they go over them together. So you got some time. If you've got the time and you want to put it there, you can put some time in with YTS themselves.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah, but we also
Or-
found the Daywatch captured a member of the assassination team.
Yeah, let's just schedule the meeting for right after that.
I think we only have time for one or two other.
Yeah, well, when are they trying to schedule this meeting?
They're trying to schedule it now. What?
Yeah, okay, so let's go to this meeting, and then let's go. At the meeting, we'll be like, we are about to interrogate an important suspect, so we're going to do that right after this. We had a day,
Not
guys.
sure they'd appreciate a hasty ghosty.
We got a whole day. Listen,
It's evening.
That speech is tomorrow. They just caught this person. Yeah, you know, they just caught this person. The cops are gonna want to do a little whack for a while. You know how they do, and then we'll join them later.
Always whacking. Cops always whacking.
They're gonna make us wait in the waiting room for 45 minutes.
So
we just
barge in there and stop it.
We just saved 45. I think we just killed two birds with one stone.
So you're saying our two choices are... Oh, we didn't let Ian say the second choice, actually.
Basically, the choices that you have is you could go directly to the Daywatch offices and get some more leads and more intel. You know, you could really focus on that, like get to know more about what's going on with the assassination team, or you could go to YTS's people directly and, you know, protect them a little bit more up close, get a little bit more up close of what's going on there.
Tricky.
I don't think it's tricky. I think we go have the meeting with YTS because they want to do it right now, and then we go interrogate this person who is going to be in captivity for a long time.
Well, think about this.
Ostensibly.
The other thing I'm thinking is it's not technically our job to do the actual protecting of YTS. Our job as contractors is, because our character is like everything before, and the people who are trying to prevent the people. So I don't know why we have to have this meeting, really. Unless he saw us from across the room and liked our vibe or something like that.
Well,
which
your
would be
job
problematic because one of us is 10, 12.
I feel like it would reflect badly on us if we beefed up security and then he was immediately assassinated.
I think it would also reflect badly on us if we beefed up security and refused to say what we beefed up and also get more information from their detail on the
you
security.
guys want to split up then?
I'm going to go to the meeting. And then I will go to the I'll go do interrogation after that. I'm good at interrogation, by the way.
But are you?
Yes.
Well, I guess that makes one of us.
Well, I would say I could go to the meeting myself, and you guys can do the interrogation. I'm not really into interrogations.
Why don't we let's go to the meeting and you know, time afterwards we stop for a bite to eat and then you know, see what's what there.
The problem is, the longer this person is in captivity, the worse their information gets, as they have time to set up countermeasures and all their.
I mean, I think it's being a spy 101 as you kind of go in with the story.
Yes.
So I think they already have the story.
Yeah, Andrew is writing this down. Being a spy 101. Exciting. Okay. You learn a lot from a 10-year-old.
Yes, I'm 10 years old, or 12, to something, somewhere in between.
10 or 12, yeah.
It's hard to tell if you just look in the mirror.
That's nice. Anyway, I think I'm fine with splitting up, but if you guys don't want to just go to the meeting, I'll go too. I was just saying we should just...
Let's go to the meeting.
We don't have to go to the meeting.
Let's go to the meeting, and if there's time to meet up with the others, then there's time. And if not, well, we've done due diligence.
Awesome. So you want to head toward the meeting.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So
I'm 57 years old. All right, I'm 57 years old. Are we bringing the tension in the room? I'm 57 years old. I
Why?
appear to be a child. I was turned into a child by a health scientist, and I'm very sensitive about it.
Oh, okay.
Andrew leans down to Guy and is like, "Are you upset right now? Do you need to take a nap? You need to. Would you like a?
We've stayed up for 2 days. So yes, I do need a nap.
Sorry, your voice is cutting out. Your mic can't handle it still.
I can't handle the awesomeness of your fury."
of the fury of this not child, not child.
Yes, I am a 57-year-old man. All right, I didn't want to be a child again.
That's fine.
Andrew takes a handkerchief out and rubs it on the back of his head. Boy, I tell you, if I had a chance to be a kid all over again, I don't know, I'd take that as a second lease on life. Think of all the extra good work you could do in such a time period.
Imagine, if you will, if you planned to die at a normal time, and had sort of all your finances in order and all that, and then oh shit, you got to live for like 60 more years.
Andrew blinks and is like, "No, I'd rather not think about that."
I think we should focus on the job at hand. And you could say, I've always been a child, or I've never been a child. I have no perspective on this.
How does a dual age, if any?
Doesn't so much age as entropy as the duals get further and further apart from each other.
Golly.
Well, but like, when you're born, do you take a while to learn stuff, or do you just kind of know everything?
Though I guess you could say I have been turned into a child several times. There's been evidence that I have unfortunately been wiped clean several
There
times.
you go.
Jeez. You're
empathize
both
with
making my rough and tumble gumshoe straight talking backstory feel a little lighter. The old leather soles are feeling a little lighter right now.
What's leather?
It's made from a Terran thing. But anyway, so you can go. I'll pull up the map again, so that way
I don't know if I believe
been
in
walking
souls.
as this
By the way,
conversation
that's a sort of metaphysical concept beyond my understanding.
So you're going to go from Kantara Station over here in this yellow dot that maybe they can see on the stream, maybe they can't. And you're going to go into the Warren District, which it's pretty close by, but you're still going to have to do a quick encounter roll. So can you...
That's where the Workers' Bureau meeting is.
It's where YTS is, right? So it's where...
We're having a meeting with him specifically.
Yes, you're having a meeting with him specifically. So can you roll a d20 for me, please?
Not it.
I already did one.
Okay, I got it. That is a 10, right down the middle.
10. So you have an interesting bit of wildlife encounters. What you have coming up to you is something the size of about a BB, right? Like sort of different size of BBs, little things. They look like ball bearings of various sizes that have small filament wings. These are elementary pollinators. Their role inside of Qadida as a dome city is to pollinate the existing plants. They are they're informatic, but they're autonomous. Like they're kind of basically like robot bees, or sort of more orbular. Orbular is a word.
I got one in my mouth. Oh God.
None of you are informatic. That's right. You are informatic. They sound like obnoxious to you. Like they sound very they sound like they're
screaming
very
in binary.
Busy. They have a kind of informatic language that they understand, but it is about like pollinating, like find something to pollinate, and they search each one of you to see if you are capable of being pollinated. not in an aggressive way, but they are examining you to see if you are capable of
the description
pollination.
you just gave us
another
sounds
one.
invasive and aggressive. But okay.
Whoa, hey, whoa.
It's more like if a bumblebee is kind of floating around you, not like a stinging bumblebee, but like one of the big fat ones. So it's not terribly threatening to you.
Here's a question. If we're level 3, presumably we've had other ventures rockside somewhere, but like, has any of us seen a flower before?
I've seen one before.
Okay. I think
Have you?
I don't think Andrew has. I feel like any planet he's been to is local, or he's never been spinside. So I think he's not a super provincial, but I don't think he really gets the purpose of these things and is starting to swat them away. It's like, what is this, an invasive robo species? What's going on here?
Just for funsies, could you roll combat to see if you hit them?
Uh-oh. Yes, I can.
Man, I just bought this pen. Oh, here it is.
That's a D6. That is a 3.
You kind of swat your hand through, and in a way that, like, when you try to swat a bug, but your the wind from your hand, like, you just miss it, and the sort of wind from your hand kind of like swirls them around a little bit, and they don't seem aggressive. They're just kind of like trying to reorient themselves and sort of fly around. They investigate you a little more closely, and then they sort of like gradually sort of fly away. They're not, once they realize that you're not really capable of being pollinated, they do stop a little bit on Guy.
Oh, what? It's stuck in my hair now. Oh, get it out. Get it out.
Oh God, does the enemy have bee spies now?
It fucking takes that work.
And so the small pollinators, they don't fly off very quickly because, again, think like bumblebees. They're kind of like floating away.
The perfect.
So that was
the worker. We should all aspire to be like them.
I'm never gonna fly into someone's house.
To be a robo-bee.
The worker, extremely centralized, but yes, the worker.
Well, I'm not going to talk about this right now.
All right.
Dog doesn't have to explain theory to anybody, not even to me.
I don't have to explain or understand theory to do theory.
Pointing at a bee, read theory.
That's the first rule of Theory Club.
Well, it's the first rule of Praxis Club, I guess. Fuck
Club.
theory.
I mean, bees do need to read theory. They have a queen.
That's right.
So monarchist.
You get
tiny little pamphlets handing to them. Do we have like really small pamphlets?
Yes.
Excellent.
You just want to, as you're walking away, do you want to chuck some pamphlets at the bees?
Yeah.
They don't pick it up. They don't recognize it as something that's pollinatable. They can't read. Which is an obstacle to reading theory, is you have to learn to read first.
Yeah.
We're gonna work on that.
If only I could read.
Well. So you have arrived in the Warren district, and you have you've gotten to the location where of the workers, sort of this bureau, right? And the Bureaucratic Workers Union. You see a lot of the people with those same pins hanging outside, and you get this strong sense that this is like the Workers Bureaucratic Union kind of neighborhood. Like this is their sort of enclave, right? Mm-hmm. And you see a house, you see that it's well appointed, and you understand that from Wust had sent you the sort of address of where to go. So we'll just retcon that happened. And so you are in front of Yellow Tent Shaver, what appears to be not just a campaign office for the Bureaucratic Workers Union, but It is Yellow Tent Shaver's home.
Does he have a lawn, or what's it like?
They do
Kind of
not have a
architecture are we
lawn.
talking?
It's kind of just in a part. It looks like a sort of, I don't know what the exact architectural terminology is, but it's kind of like a brownstone, just kind of
Okay.
straight into a street. So there's no lawn in front of it.
Is it elevated, or are there like steps leading up, or
There's steps leading up, but not very many. Like it's not like a high thing, like a
Mhm.
stoop.
And you said there's a bunch of WVU looking people around here.
They're just walking around the neighborhood,
do they
right?
look-
I think as we pass a couple of them, I'm casing for like the dumbest like loser looking one, right? Like sort
You
of a
really
Ron
want this
DeSantis
pin,
looking
huh?
one.
You just really want this pen, huh?
Um,
I'll take a
you
pen.
see,
We could
You
just
see
ask
one-
him to give us a pin.
I already tried that.
No, but the guy. We asked the guy, the main guy, the one we're going to go see.
We ask him for an autograph, and then a pin, and then another pin, and more autographs.
you do see as you're walking by someone who I want to describe as a Ron DeSantis, but like greasy and melting.
Oh, we
Like,
should.
So,
not
Ron
literally
DeSantis.
melting, but like just more so.
Oh,
Okay,
we kill
yeah,
him.
like
If you see a Ron DeSantis down the road, you kill him. That's the ancient
Yeah,
Buddhist
yeah.
tone.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the parable.
The stream does not necessarily endorse killing any government figures in real life.
but this guy looks like if you did do that.
This guy looks like if someone had put a Ron DeSantis in the microwave and left it in for a bit.
Ron
like-
or DeSantis or
I think the problem with your description is like it's really giving a vibe that like already sets us off on a bad
we're gonna get this guy. Anyway,
yeah.
We're talking about a Ron DeSantis action figure, right? Like a plastic doll that like now
it's been
like
left in the sun for too long, like on a
Yeah.
hot Arizona day.
Yes, which is actually it's only 90 degrees, so it's not so bad. But so if you were looking for the dumbest, greasiest member of the bureaucratic workers union, this is your guy.
yeah. I'm gonna use steel to just snatch his pin right off of his lapel. And to do that, I just have to name the object and then burn D8 grit. So I'm burning 2 grit. Oh wow, what a cheap steal. And then I have to make a standard, a move plus my level. So that is D10 plus 3. And I got a 4, so I failed.
Oh,
In fact, I got a 1 on the die, so I failed no matter what.
you failed.
The consequence of this is that this guy now has to make a standard will check. And if he succeeds, he catches me doing this.
So standard is like 5 or better.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, standard is 6.
You beat 5.
yeah,
sorry,
yeah, 5. So it's 6 plus, right? Well, the nice part about Ron or DeSantis is that his will die is a 4, so he
Great.
cannot pass a standard will. He is incapable of passing a standard will check.
I think if I'm trying to snatch his pin, I basically just turned it upside down by accident. I didn't realize that you have to pull the back off, and so I just keep walking never mind.
Mm-hmm. Ron or DeSantis looks down at his pin, and he doesn't know anything's wrong with it. It's just fine.
Well, he's looking at it like this, so it's the right side up.
Mm-hmm. Like, oh, hey, Workers Bureaucratic Union, that's us.
That's where I work.
All right, so you've arrived at you're at the house now, and with your attempted theft, didn't quite go so well. So you're at the house, you're at the front door, you can walk up to the steps, and what do you do?
I think we do we want to make an entrance? Do we just simply want to go through?
I go up and I knock on the door.
Direct approach.
You knock on the door, and who comes in is a young woman,
A human woman?
human woman, like humanoid woman. And she introduces herself and says, "Are you from the Qadida Information Agency?"
Was called and said you wanted to meet with us.
Andrew lifts up a finger and is like, I am, to an extent.
Oh, you're those people.
Yeah, hello.
Hello. hello, little boy.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I have your pronouns correct.
Yeah, you got it right.
Yeah. This is
Okay.
our ward guy.
So I should introduce myself. My name is Marjata Layla, and I am Yellow Tent Shavers. I hope to be chief of staff, comrade of staff. We're still working on titles here.
Are you the campaign manager? Is that what you're trying to say?
We don't really do campaigns here, but I think my job
Pointing at
is
the banner that says YTS. Vote for YTS or something like that.
is that we had an election and well YTS won, so we did an election. It's more of a vote within the party as opposed to like a larger thing. Anyway, my major job is to sort of facilitate interactions with YTS and all of our comrades. And but I have learned from the Qadida Information Agency that you've been working on a plan or a plot, and that YTS Yellow Tent Shaver has some information that they have received, and they would like to maybe go over that with you if you have a little bit of time. And we would appreciate also to get some updates on, well, we'll let YTS handle that because they said they wanted to discuss things with you a little bit more on a personal level.
Okay. I mean, we're here, so.
Yes. So come on in. And so they invite you, so Rajata invites you in. Do you go inside?
Oh, yeah. I'm looking for that picture of Huma Abedin like on the couch going like this because I feel like this is exactly her.
Yeah, this is pretty much it.
Huma Abedin?
Was like a Hillary Clinton campaign person and Anthony Weiner's wife for a time.
Right, man, I remember her. Okay.
And so you're escorted in, and you kind of go past. You see a couple of people who are sort of milling about, but what you mostly see is what appears to be a like a Wetton family unit, basically. Like you see some like smaller Wettons, like they're obviously not larvae anymore. They're what would be like Wetton teenagers.
Nymphs? Is that what it's called? I think for bugs in real life.
There's like larvae. They're not pupas, but they're smaller Wettons. You get the sense that they're younger.
Yeah, I think nymphs is for the
post
right. Larva stage.
Like the young version of the full-sized.
Yes, the sort of, we could call them nymphs for our purposes. They are
immature form of insect that doesn't change greatly as it grows. Good dragonfly, mayfly, or locust.
Yeah. Putting a lot of strictures on their development. Yeah.
And so you get the sense that, like, having walked through that, Yellow Tent Shaver, these are Yellow Tent Shaver's sort of children, for lack of a better term. Like the Yellow Tent Shaver's family, that Yellow Tent Shaver has there's many kids in this house, there's many children here. And you're escorted into a living room, and where you see Yellow Tent Shaver is...
I take out an age code coloring book first, and I give it to one of the kids.
One of the kids looks at it and looks up at you and says, "Thank you very much."
It's like how to blow up a pipeline.
How to blow up a pipeline.
Yeah.
And they sort of take it into another room. They sort of take it into another room. And you're escorted into a living room, and you see a Wetton there, and this is Yellow Tent Shaver. Yellow Tent Shaver has sort of mottled black spots on their shell. You see that they are they're looking at a document, and they are sort of like in several files, and they are carefully reading, highlighting, like taking notes They are working towards something, and they look up at you and say, "Josh, can I help you?
You called for us.
Could you tell me who you are specifically? I have many people who come asking me for things. I have many meetings, as you understand."
He's trying to big time us. Ridiculous. I don't.
Wait, what happens in big time?
No, it's like. Oh, I see what. Worst. So you called?
Wust. Oh, and you see that Yellow Tent Shaver has a concerned look all of a sudden. Oh, yes. I understand. And so Wust kind of takes a look and peeks out the living room. There's a door. The living room has a door to it, so the Wust like closes the door to the living room. Or not Wust, Yellow Tent Shaver closes the door to the living room, pulls down the sort of like goes to the window, like pulls down the blinds, makes sure everything is there. Says, "So I understand that you have been working on, you have been working to stop an assassination plot against me."
Oh,
right.
you're very informed. Yes, security is our speciality.
I understand. So what I would like to know is if you think that the assassination plan is coming from outside or inside.
I believe we were so far. It's Worship will go.
But yeah, it seems like outside to inside.
Outside to inside.
They got someone from the outside who we're gonna go actually talk to after this, and then. But we also caught someone from the inside.
You caught someone from the inside. Can you tell me more about the inside?
Oh, I'll let one of you say it. Or I'll say it.
Go for it.
The leak was from a member of the FQIA. Once we discovered it, though, we left it to the FQIA to figure that out, since we don't technically have power over them. We were just,
We did the detective work. We handed it off, and then we did the venue work, and now we're going to do some more detective work after this. We're all working together, communism.
Understood. That I respect the idea of us working together as comrades, but and you tell when he says the word comrade, he has like a hard time saying the word comrade. But you have to understand that our ideas have many enemies, both outside, like the Worshipful Company is the obvious one, but there's other forces that I understand are arrayed against change and progress that we're trying to do here. I understand that there's some factions within Free Qadida that are against us, that want more power for themselves. I also understand that the Honorable Company is not terribly happy with the directions that we're taking. And points to D.O.G and says, "You're from the Expeditionary Force, and I appreciate the service and help that you comrades have given us, but I also recognize that our relations have not been as comrades. Wouldn't you agree?"
Did you call this meeting to lecture me on ideology?
I called this meeting to make sure that you understand.
My place? Is that what you want?
Not you. But I called this meeting because I believe there are more plots than just the Worshipful Company. I believe that there are enemies everywhere. And I want you to find all of them, not just the Worshipful Company.
Well,
that's off-putting.
are you going to delay the conference?
We cannot delay the conference. That is not an option for us.
Okay.
If we delay the conference, it gives our enemies more time to stop it. If they don't kill me today, delaying it means they'll just kill me tomorrow. I ask you, as a member of the Honorable Company Expeditionary Force, are you going to send more people if we delay? No, you're not. If you wanted me safe, you would have sent more people in the first place.
Ouch.
I will say we had the very wonderful privilege of spending sort of the early afternoon with some of your security while we were over at the other residence, and I gotta say they are
It is up
top
to
notch.
Hang on. It is up to each individual what they do.
So you're an individualist now.
I'm saying the ones here are the ones who wanted to protect you. If there are less who want to protect you, perhaps you should consider why that might be.
I understand. So in other words, you and the Honorable Company Expeditionary Force make individual choices to whether or not your comrades should live or die.
So I have a question. Has enough time passed to use corkboards, red strings, and push pins at this point?
Given that they're doing a conversation back and forth, we will say yes.
Okay. So I think then he's going to continue to mull on this. If it's ready to initiate, I think then I am going to. So our Wetton colleague who we're trying to protect, and what we know of the potential for somebody who's just been captured, as well as the situation in the structure that we've just left. I'm going to try and triangulate between those and burn 6 grit and then roll reason to see if there's any circumstantial evidence or connections between this conversation and what he's speaking or what they're speaking about. And the information gathered so far.
Or maybe do you want a way for him to say maybe who else he thinks is?
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm gonna wait to pull the trigger, if you will, on this until we hear a bit more.
Unless he's just being super paranoid, he just thinks enemies are everywhere and he doesn't have any fucking info.
It's a real coin toss.
He's sort of wheeling up to say that basically the Honorable Company has been a good ally for us in the war, but I understand that they don't agree with our policies. Frankly, there are elements in the Honorable Company that I understand would prefer we went their way instead of our own way. And I have some suspicions, not that the Honorable Co is trying to kill me personally, but that they would prefer if we did not advance our policy of dual easing. And they would stop it they wouldn't stop it, but they also wouldn't necessarily stop an assassination attempt from someone else.
Well,
so you think they're trying to prevent the letter of the law and not the spirit? Not.
My point is essentially that they wouldn't act out of malice, but they might act out of neglect.
Well, yeah, that's a dog has a good question. Who else?
My strong suspicion is one of the other factions, the Gruget, for example.
Oh yeah, I mean clearly the mole was involved with them. That was one of the little details about that agent.
Ah, so the Gruget is involved.
Yeah, sorry, I thought they told you.
Yes. So the Gruget is likely involved. And you see that he they put down a note, like just sort of like they sort of circle a file, confirm some things.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the entire Gruget, but it was a guy from the Gruget who was stupid enough to put his initials on a dead drop.
Well, and what initials would those be?
AY.
Oh, Eunice. We know about Eunice.
What do you know about Eunice?
He's dipshit.
And points and says, when you say dipshit, it's like, not the words I would use, but the sentiment is accurate.
Yeah, we met him.
So what I see basically is we recognize that the Gruget has an interest in seeing me gone because that puts them into power. The Honorable Company, from my perspective, doesn't necessarily want to kill me actively, but they would allow me to die so the circumstances allow it. And the Worshipful Company is, well, the Worshipful Company. So we have quite a few people who are entities that would like to see me dead. And as I understand the three of you, your job is to make sure I am not dead. I understand the Honorable Company Expeditionary Force has provided some security, but I also recognize that they haven't exactly been forthcoming with security. The Day Watch has some information, but they're not exactly telling me any of it. So what I've brought you here to do is to maybe try and compare some notes and see if we can figure out where the threats are coming from so we're not paranoid in the clouds.
I was going to joke, what's a cloud? But that's not true. I know what a cloud is.
We can practice a little bit that we can act together as a duel and do some easing of our own.
I'm not going to do it.
Okay, I'm gonna blow everyone up. Actually,
no.
Everyone.
You're not blow up a house full of children to finish this venture.
Okay. Effort. Well, it's 5 meters, but no, I'm not going to do that. Anyway. Sorry, there's sirens happening in the background. I hope that's not coming through.
Just barely.
Just barely.
It hurt.
Push pins, there you go. That's what I wanted to say.
And so he's sort of just asking, maybe he sort of turns to, he turns and says, so maybe you can tell me a little bit about what you found, and maybe you tell me about the security setup we have for tomorrow.
You basically know what we found. They did arrest someone that they say is from the Worshipful Company. We're going to go do a little bit of a extra interrogation of them after this. We're sort of on it's on the way. And in terms of the security, well, we did a pretty good job. I mean, I don't know, who wants to start?
Oh, go for it.
Okay, well, I spent a lot of time on the poison detectors, which I will say I do have expertise in. They beep very loudly, so if you hear a loud beep,
very loudly,
don't drink anything.
Well, I appreciate that, son. You seem a little young for this work, if I may be so bold.
I'm younger than you think.
Kid here.
I am younger than you think.
Even younger. That's remarkable. We always appreciate you taking an interest in all matters political. I understand that perhaps you've had some legal troubles, and we want to assure you that part of our dual easing policy is to make sure that what happens to you does not happen to any more of our young.
I do appreciate that. I will say my situation is extremely unique, so I don't think anyone else is going to have that problem. But if they did, I would empathize with them. And be happy that they'd have a slightly different situation going on.
I mean, is that Space Wizard on the loose?
Yes.
So, I mean,
definitely.
It's possible he's just doing this to people in general.
I haven't
feels
met any
like a
other
security
children.
matter in and of itself, but for a separate thing.
There's just a guy on the loose just turning people into children.
Probably other things also.
Just the implications of your backstory is there's just a guy doing this to people.
I haven't met anyone else who's in my situation, so I don't know.
Yeah, but there's a whole universe. There's this guy's going around,
it's a big cosmos.
Malkovich tunnels, just turning people into children.
He's turning them into children, and then when they grow up, he could go through time and turn them into children again.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it seems kind of like a hack.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not a fan of my situation. To be clear, I'd rather be my actual age.
Well, like
but
an evil wizard phoning it in, or
I'm not confirming that in this meeting.
But Yellowton Shaver's like, well, we understand that that there's always complications with being a young person involved in politics, and with the criminal justice system may be involved. I don't have all the files on that, and if you like, we can. If you help me out with this and you help us out together, we can get this record expunged. We have the power to do that.
I would very much appreciate that.
Andrew's like hearing. He's trying really hard to read between the lines, and this guy's really clearly very good at his job. But is hearing the way that he's sort of like having a forced time saying the word comrade and is sort of middle of the road what they know about him before. And he sort of takes a moment and he's like, yeah, but this is trying to see if maybe there's just even a little bit of information forthcoming from them, and says, well, that's exactly what we're all
Do
acting.
we all lose Ethan's audio?
What?
Yes.
I lost
Is
it.
my audio gone?
Yeah, it was gone when you started whatever
Explaining
your
what
saying.
you were about to say.
I think no. I think it tried to detect my phone as an audio source. Courtesy Mac update. Yeah. So Andrew is hearing that he's that they're sort of like a middle of the road sort of wet and like thinking about their policies, just seeing if there's any more information that like good conversation might extract to give us a better beat on what is happening, and says like, well, that's the crux of what we're here for, right? I mean, we're all here working together collectively, but here in this big universe of ours, we're all individuals too. We all of our situations are wholly unique. We have a collective group of robots. We have a person of indeterminate age dealing with science beyond our comprehension, and I myself, an exciting yet grizzled cartographer here in a domed city. We all have such unique individual experiences, but we have to all come together collectively. That's why I'm helping you out, fella. That's why I'm in this case.
I appreciate the idea of we all working together. We don't work divided. You work united in order to be free, not necessarily under a single person.
So is there any other sort of hush information, just between us trying to make sure that this goes as smoothly and as least murderously as possible? Is there any other information you can impart while we're trying to collate the data on this one?
That I have to be honest with you, I have my suspicions and my theories, but I don't necessarily have any hard facts any more than you do. But I do understand that the Day Watch has a person of interest, and the thing that may help you in confirming some of my suspicions is that I had to go through a lot of back channels, call in favors, and really try to get them to even tell me that there was a plot in the first place. So if there's any evidence is that the Day Watch are comrades, they've been playing pretty close to the vest, and I could say that most of the Honorable Company's involvement since we came into office, we came into the control of the party, has not been as forthcoming as they were with our predecessors.
Well, given that information, I think now Andrew is going to try and use corkboards, red strings, and push pins. So I'm burning 6 grit and rolling reason and asking for if I can stuff out with the evidence that we three have looked for, the connections between what he just said, the Day Watch, the security breach already, and then our Wetton friend here.
All right. So you have your triangle of connections is you have YTS. I'm just drawing out a triangle for our sake.
Ooh.
the existing breach, right, of security.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the third point in our triangle?
And the what they're saying about the possible indifference of the Day Watch.
I mean,
So
I don't know
that
if
would
it
be a
really
reason
is.
roll. So I'm going to roll a d10. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Like, I don't know if that really is a problem with the. I feel like it's more they just don't know who is who, and I don't know. It's fine.
I mean, it seems
No, what
like
do you mean?
it does seem like workplace complaining, right? It feels like
Do you think maybe this is barking up the wrong tree? Might just be grousing.
Yeah, like the whole department never does any work at all. Like they never get anything done. They're always late on the report. It's like, okay, yeah, no, I get it, guys.
Yeah, the
Like,
espionage people didn't tell everyone that there's espionage happening because they're the espionage people. Their job is to not tell anybody what the thing is because then there would be a leak. And there's no way to... Oh, whatever. It's fine.
As a GM, I'm going to ask, are you doing this in character or are you doing this in table talk?
that was table talk.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Oh well, I can. Andrew can also hold off asking until the interrogation. The only consideration of trying to run this power once instead of twice is simply that it takes a number of hours to generate it.
Mm-hmm.
So Andrew can hold the powder on this one until we collate even more data on it.
So there's kind of an internal state that, like you're kind of saying that Andrew is starting to put some things together and perhaps is suspecting that not everything. There is a worshipful company plot, but there might be other plots. It's not a white hats, black hats situation.
Right. It's sounding like it's a factional pissing contest thing.
Right. And so YTS says, well, I think that perhaps our best mutual course of action would be to have you go try and see if you can extract anything from the Day Watch. Because they certainly aren't talking to me. They're not talking to us. So if you would like to take the opportunity to go try and talk to the Day Watch, you could report to them. And he hands you what looks like to be a little communicator and says, we can have this, you can use this to go straight to the Day Watch office. You can take my personal vehicle and it will take you straight there. You won't have to deal with the streets or any encounters. You can go straight there and come straight back and report to me what you find.
Okay.
Would you like access?
Yeah, sounds great.
Great. And so he says, great. Now, I do need the vehicle back very quickly, so you cannot spend much time doing this interrogation. You need to come back here and report to me very quickly. Do not delay. This is very important. This is my life here. This is the parent to all of those nymphs you saw out there. Now, even if you disagree with my politics, you have to understand that you don't want to leave them without a parent.
I'm already leaving to the car. He's taking too long.
He's trying to impress upon you, and basically this is also the GM impressing upon you, like this interrogation needs to go quickly.
Okay, so this car, I was going to say, wouldn't it be funny if this car had a bomb in it? But
it would be so funny if the car had a bomb in it and we all died.
Well, I think Andrew is gonna
killing a child.
Yeah, Andrew is definitely getting into the car, ignoring what you're all saying, having not.
I think Guy looks as solemn as possible. Like, yeah, you know what? We'll skip dinner. we were gonna get a bite after this, but yeah, we'll come back.
All right. So
I have not slept in 36 hours.
And you got
oh, boo hoo hoo.
And you got to go. So you get to the you get in the car. It's a nicely appointed car. It is basically something that you would be unfamiliar with as like fleeters. Is basically what would be kind of like a mid-century. Like when I say mid-century, like early century, something not like sort of 2 generations away from the Model T, but about that. but still a car. And it drives you.
Well, what we would consider kind of a shitty car is what you're saying.
Yes, extremely shitty. But if you were a fleeter, this
home design. It's not architect. It's not ancient. It's a product of Qadida.
Pretty much, yeah. It has been put together.
Something to be proud of.
Free. It is the combination of free Qadida ingenuity and honorable co-assistance. But you get to the offices of the Day Watch. The Day Watch offices are in.
He's like pulling on one of the little handholds next to the door, and he's like, "What does this lever do? It's not. It clearly pulls. I can't tell what it's doing."
But don't touch it.
No, I want to find out what it does.
You get to the Day Watch offices, and you get there, right? You arrive, and you get out of the car, and as you're sort of in front of the Day Watch offices, you see somebody points to dog and says, "Hey," and sort of gestures to like come over here.
One of the robots gets from underneath the trench coat. Now it's two robots tall, and it goes over to him.
Yeah, I'm taller than you now.
And so it goes to the robot, like it sort of leans down to the robot. It's sort of a human woman leans down to the one robot and says, "Look, we don't have time for any of this. You got to bring all the robots over and your friends too."
Okay, and then from across the city.
Not all of them, but like
they're just like a march of dual tools, like in a row. Do they come in a cluster?
They're just running we gotta go home, I guess.
Sort of
like the army of souls at the end of Hellsing.
Not this one at a time thing, but like, yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought you were unaffiliated with why we were here. Okay.
No, the person identifies themselves, and she says, "Listen, I am Bayless Grigori, and my partner," points to a weapon nearby, "is Copper Rider Saver." Right? And after all, we're all here with the Honorable Company, each and every one of us in our own way. We have all of this stuff together. We're all trying to just find out the truth, and really we're trying to help people out. We're trying to be actual comrades, and we're also really trying to make sure the Worshipful Company's capitalist expansion doesn't occur. So we are here to help you out, as or really to help us out together, so we can help out our little cousins, if you know what I mean.
Wait, who are your little cousins? Like, do you actually have little cousins?
The free Qadidans are little cousins. That's how the derisive term HCO sometimes uses for the free Qadidans.
Yeah, I have not heard that. That's I sort of thought you were talking about me.
No, not you. After all, you're Fowler says, "Not you. You're one of us."
Yeah, but I am little. I'm like 4.5 feet tall.
You know what? Not little of experience, we'll say, for our little cousins.
I'm like 12 years old.
And Fowler goes the and says, "So we have some news about the individual that's been captured. Well, first off, we have to say that we no longer have them in our custody."
Amazing.
Did you let them go?
There was an exfiltration team.
Are we gonna have to do a car chase?
You will not have to do a car chase, but we do have enough information that.
Well, who are they?
I got the film with the voice.
Okay, I secretly wanted to do a car chase. I was being dramatic.
But they say, well, we can't tell you much, but we did get a little bit of information about what is going on with the Worshipful Co-assassination team. And they're going to give you some clues, and some clues I have to give you. This is sort of the meta part. some clues I may have to give you depending on some roles that they do in their game, and I will
in the
DM them
future.
to you later. Yes.
So are we like
Hold on.
having the table? Or we should table it, or
We don't have to table it right now because you do have the information about one of them for sure. And
okay.
I will put that in the chat later. People watching will know which one that is. It's the one that's captured, but you have definite information on one. You'll have some information on another. Felith tells you that
For the viewers, there's another one of these streams on Sunday, and it is of the team from the Worshipful Company, and so they are doing things at the same time we are doing things, and then we're going to get together.
Yeah.
And they do say yes. So for the meta reason, they that you will see all of this play out in the Worshipful Qadida stream. And they say that's what we have, but we can tell you that this is going to be very useful given that you have a particular task to make sure that our big little cousin, if you catch my meaning, is not assassinated, because it's very important that we look like we're doing everything we can.
We do what we want.
I mean, I do want to do the job that I was forced to do.
Yeah.
That we understand that if you may not want to do the job, but we also kind of recognize that if the, say, Honorable Co-Expeditionary Force is all arrayed out front and the assassination still happens, it doesn't make them look very good or us very good, does it?
Yeah, no, also if the assassination happens, they throw me back in prison. This is sort of a Suicide Squad thing for me. So I actually do have stakes here.
What's the Suicide Squad?
Oh.
It's like don't worry about it. It's like a play.
I just don't get paid. That's whoa.
You're getting paid?
Yeah.
Before you go, we have a little bit of information that maybe you weren't told about. We wanted to know a little bit what you knew about Arm Eunice.
That weenus?
We don't know much.
Well, tell us what you do know.
Yeah, he signed his initials in a dead drop where a leak was made, so clearly a dipshit.
He's a bad liar.
He's a dipshit.
My critical assessment of him is that he's an individual operating over his.
He's operating over his head, but one of the things that we're curious about is that, do you think he has contacts on the other side?
What now?
Do you think, well, and they hand, Falith...
That's what we were about to ask the person you let go.
Copper Rider Saver hands you a folder and says, it's a folder full of just radio intelligence documents, and says, we have a lot of signals intelligence that indicates that Arm Eunice likely has some contacts on the other side. We suspect that Arm Eunice is working for the Worshipful Company in some capacity as well.
Well, how else did he get the leak about the plot? I thought that was obvious. He was the one who got the information in the first place.
Andrew was like, well, it wasn't obvious to me.
What? What do you mean? That's the box?
Andrew was mulling all of us over. Wait, do you mean the Worshipful Company here in Qadida, or do you mean the Worshipful Company and you points like up, like the Worshipful Company?
That's what we don't know, because our signals intelligence only goes so far. But we suspect that it's probably...
Well, how else would he get the information in the first place?
The thing that we don't know is we don't really know... Like, Arm Eunice is passing a lot of info back and forth. But what we're kind of curious about, because frankly, the interesting part to us is that Arm Eunice knew about this assassination plot before we did, right?
Yes.
And as the Day Watch, we are supposed to know what the, worshipful company's up to. And so when when our little cousins are ahead of us, that kind of makes us look bad. So you can help us
you
out.
can do
and
that all
figure
by yourself.
That if you could help us out by maybe figuring out who gave Armunis, who put Armunis up to telling the Free Qadida Information Agency.
But add a character. Do we have time to do this in 30 minutes?
Oh, we do with a little something possibly called wires, corks, and strings.
Oh yeah, that is true. You have that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think Guy says, like, I mean, we can do what we want to do, but I will say, we were about to ask that to the person you let go, so.
The fact that they think that it's like, in Andrew's mind, like, when anybody talks about, like, the Co. and, like, the worshipful company, it to him is like, it's the local sort of, like, the local faction of them that, like, fancy, they've got the ham radio, they're in contact with the higher ups. It's like, it's this very abstract, like, okay, well, these are locals who are idiots. Like, yeah, they're dangerous idiots, but, like, they're chasing a fantasy, and it's like the idea of the actual Co involved is kind of hitting him really hard because he's never really had to deal with that before.
That sort of word for Andros, like the worshipful Qadida is like a bunch of dummies that are sort of puppets of the worshipful company, and the worshipful company is the hand, and the hand is dangerous. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically.
In my experience,
he has never really encountered the idea of like,
puppet.
seeing it for the first time, and like, people in Qadida presumably having lived there most of his life, like, don't think too much about the void outside of the bubble, unless if they're going somewhere, it's through a stiffworks. Maybe they have to do a maintenance mission on the dome itself. So like thinking about like Spindle and everything that it represents being present is like kind of giving him the chills, and like the gravitas of what they're trying to do and help out with hasn't really like hit him before.
That you're sort of, you thought about this as like your fight. It's Andros is realizing that you're fighting one of the groups you're fighting is the worshipful company of Stillfleeters.
Right. The entire entity with vast resources and a really bad, very, very long track record, and it's extremely dangerous.
Right, like this is a government that controls like 8 halves of planets.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so Faleth impresses upon you and says, we understand that you have a lot going on and a lot of theories and a lot of things to work through. We also understand that you have a very important with our big little cousin. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's the actual job we're doing.
Right. And they point to the car and say, we'll make sure that you have enough. And they sort of a copper writer saver hands you a file with all of the info on what they have about the worshipful company assassination team. The file that we'll send offline, or the other people watching will see, and say, this should satisfy our big little cousin for right now. But if you figure some things out and connect all the dots, you will let us know.
I mean, do you have a comm to give us?
You just pay one of the swallows. They'll come to us.
I mean, how much can they?
Not the birds. The swallows is a faction. They can.
Yeah, I was making a bad pun.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
All right.
It's like that. It's like a hot dog guy.
Mm-hmm. It's
Right.
it's the what is his
Tsunami.
name? The Nathan's hot dog guy champion.
Yeah, the hot dog guy.
Yeah. the hot dog
Kobayashi.
guy.
Sure.
Kobayashi.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
it.
He's the hot dog guy to me.
You mean the greatest athlete of all time?
Yeah.
Hot dog guy.
But they point to the car and say, "You better get going. You have a very important appointment with a big little cousin. After all, but just remember, after all, we are all comrades here." And Faleth winks.
The more I live, the more I wonder, will the real comrade stand up?
Please stand up.
Please stand up.
And they sort of go back into the Daywatch headquarters.
Must be something
really
about
have-
this asteroid that makes everyone annoying.
Something that I like is that everybody thinks that they are friends instantly.
Oh yeah, we're entities about town, you know. We're doing the good works.
You've succeeded in a lot of charm checks. What can I say?
Everyone has like supervisor energy, and it's really.
I mean, I guess we do have an animal mascot and a cute child.
Right,
Yeah,
you
plus
don't
we're
exactly
aggressively annoying.
you don't present big aggressive threat for the most part.
I'm just realizing we are like the main cast of a Disney movie.
Mhm.
But I'm assuming you're getting back. We'll GM this and say you get back into the car and you go back to YTS's house. For the interest of time in the stream.
Yeah.
You want it on the strings?
Yeah. Does it make sense to use that power now? The strings corporates.
Yeah. At this point, Andrew has gone totally silent in the car. He's a little ashen faced, like a little pale. The actual extreme danger that they're in. It's not some cool adventure anymore. But it's offering wonderful clarity. So he's doing the mind palace facts are cross dissolving.
Guy's in the front seat and leans the seat like too far back into Andrew.
Just for like practically staring up. Yeah. So I think. So I guess the one question he posed to the group is like, so what? Who do we think the major players are at this point? What? It's like we've got to start making some leaps here.
You're asking us?
Yeah.
Oh.
My
the
techno-lagomorphic friend.
Fudge. Well, the air immune section was I was gonna say the Bijor beignets, but they're not the beignets. They're Bruges. Yeah, I don't know. Thing about pastries. The Bruges. I mean, there's a Daywatch, the Workers Bureau, and did I forget anybody?
Well, it seems like Aramunis might be just kind of off on his own, maybe.
I think he's between various people.
Yeah, there seems to be suspicion that he is multi-dealing.
Oh, you think, like dealing under several tables. The tables are on top of each other, and he's dealing under all of them.
We have circumstantial evidence of that, so...
Mm-hmm.
We have evidence that he's doing it. We have circumstantial evidence that he's doing it for a couple
Information
people.
Agency, the Bruges, and apparently has worshipful company contacts for him to even get the leaking info in the first place.
I also did figure out that he was basically being burned from the government anyway, right? They moved his office to a shitty corner of the building, and
yeah. He's been down. So maybe this is unknown thing by other people already.
But it's not really a burn, is it? Or if this is a play to make him see more?
No, you're right. If it was a burn, he'd be, in the sidewalk at this point.
He's been demoted, right? He's been demoted. He's been demoted. He is like clearly just. I feel like he could maybe be lashing out before he's fired.
Is it possible he's just trying to seem more important? Like he's trying to up his status by being the guy who knew this information first.
That's a good point.
But he fucked up going about it in a way. But still, still get the.
If he fucked up, then it's like. So then maybe the question to sort of mull on is, based if he's triple dealing at this point, like, who's going to act first? Or I guess if we're sort of thinking now, it might be the worship. Based like what what angle are they going to try based on what we know about the lay of the land and the parties involved?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they have a team capable of breaking into a prison and
that's
taking
not
people
great.
out of it. So clearly, they are good at infiltration.
Infiltration, exfiltration. So I guess that's the real thing. Like, what can we extrapolate? And we're gonna have the file too, but like, what can we extrapolate about the attempt? What is definitely going to be an assassination attempt at this point?
But we'll get a lot of information about their infiltration of the facility that we are just at.
That's true.
I guess how they exfiltrated will tell us a bit about their capabilities as well, right? So
you got to infiltrate to exfiltrate.
Yeah. But I think how does did you roll for pushing?
No, I haven't. So I'm going to be rolling D reason, and if I score 6 or above, I can add a 1 to the total. Then so anything less than a 6 is pretty good. And so it's basically like if I roll less than 6, I have a wild ass guess. If I roll greater than 10, there's hard evidence. And if it's a perfect score, it's going to be like the Sherlocking and putting together.
Mm-hmm.
Let's roll.
Who's driving?
Hopefully not Andrew.
It's definitely Dog is driving.
Yeah.
One of Dog's rabbit's bodies is driving.
Yeah, this dog is probably an exceptional driver.
I guess I could just plug it into the car and then just drive it that way.
But like,
I thought we had a driver,
but fine. Okay,
or you just have one rabbit's on the brake, one rabbit's on the gas pedal, one rabbit's on the signaling, one rabbit's on the steering wheel.
Okay, I have rolled a reason, and it is a 6. No more, no less.
All right. So what does that give you?
Let's see. I have burned 6 crits, so now I'm getting kind of low. If I roll 6 to 10, I have decent circumstantial evidence or connections. It's not an exceptional super answer, but it's better than a guess.
All right. I'm going to, the way I think I can do this is that you have this revealed in your mind palace, but since Guy and Dog don't know what you know, like you have a kind of epiphany, right? And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put it in our chat, but spoiler tag it, and I've marked it as Ethan only. So,
okay.
Jeff or Ben, are you watching the Twitch stream?
No.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I'll put it in there.
But you're putting it as a spoiler. We just won't click the spoiler.
Well, if it's in the if you're watching the Twitch stream and you're watching the chat, if it gets revealed.
I see.
I'm trying to figure out the way to get this to the audience.
The stream. Got it. So Wythe will click the spoiler in the Twitch now. I've exited the stream.
If he's watching, Wythe, if you're watching, do click the spoiler.
If not, the audience will learn with everybody else later.
It's no longer a spoiler that I'm a 57-year-old man turned into a 10 to 12-year-old.
That's true.
Okay. All right, I'm just putting in the sort of.
Wythe is a spy.
I think it's like a tabby cat. I know it's just really looks like a tabby cat to me.
I mean that's Dog, right?
Yeah.
That's like the dog. That's Dog in there.
So this is I've blocked out the theory here. And this is the basics of the theory. You have circumstantial, it's pretty good, but you can't exactly prove it.
Maybe I could go close the chat too. Not like I need chat.
So you should see, like, Jeff and Ben see a big block of text.
I've closed it for now. After I did that emote, of course.
Oh shit.
So at this point we can get to the idea is a way before we get into the house. We get at the emotional state of how's Andrew feeling about what has been the epiphany?
Andrew, it's getting to the point where like the number of factions in this, it is turning into a noir for reals at this point, where there's a tangled web. And Andrew has never been one to think that, oh well, he in his heart, I think that, like, oh well, he says the words, he calls people comrades, he's all about the good works, but really he's generally optimistic about the direction Qadida is going in, and where the universe is at, and he feels good about his little part in it. But like starting to like get, this is sort of like the filth of petty politics and real danger. The fact that people would be petty and an entire population would be in danger, is starting to, like, it's, I think that's some of the not, it's a rusty glamour in the city, but there's a bit of a, the Qadida's pretty decent as locations go, but like this is starting to, like, he's starting to, like, see the grime as they're driving past it. It's just like suddenly, like, the landscape is taking on like a different feeling to him. Like he's seeing the dripping pipes, and he's seeing the rust, and, like, the accretion of minerals in the water on the street. It's just like suddenly everything starts feeling like really kind of gritty and gross to him, and he's like starting to, like, he's like almost like unconsciously like wiping his gloves a little bit, not realizing he's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It feels just like, in some ways, you're kind of describing, Andrew was kind of like started out as like a true believer in a certain way, right? Or
in a certain way, like a middle of the road, he probably has more in common with their charge than he would like to admit, and now is starting to, is, in a way that optimism is very rapidly dissolving.
So as that maybe last bit of that optimism is dissolving, in the night of, the night turning into dawn, as we're approaching sort of what would be technically the sort of the dawn of YTS day. You get to Yellow Tent Shaver's home.
I think as the car stops, Guy, like, before he like puts his seat forward, like turns his head very slightly back to Andrew, since he's way too far back, and just said, like, man, you look like you haven't slept in 36 hours.
And Merjan is still there, escorts you into sort of the same hallway you were in before. The nymphs are all, like, upstairs asleep in different, they're not around. Yellow Tent Shaver's working on what you would recognize as probably this going to be the dual easing presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And looks to the three of you and says, so what did the Day Watch tell you?
Oh.
Jailbreak.
Jailbreak. Well, I think that we've done the best we can. Did they give you any information about who the assassination team is?
Yeah, they gave us this for you.
Okay, and they take a look at it, and they sort of look it over and be like, would have expected a bit more, but I think this is pretty satisfactory. And looks to the three of you and says, you have to understand, I don't mean to be rude, but I do have a lot to take care of, and I feel like you have done the best you can, and I hate to ask more of loyal comrades, and he says comrades this time very sincerely, as yourself, but I would very much appreciate it if you were present in Kintaro Station when I was there. I would certainly feel better. Knowing
Oh,
that
that
you
was our
were
plan anyway.
there. I
Yeah,
understand
but
that
now
was your
we'll really be there.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, oh wait, I don't know. I'm doing the way. Sorry. I mean, I thought we're part of the security team technically, so we were just gonna be stationed at the places we fortified,
I
unless you want us
I
to be
un-
somewhere else.
as long as you're there with me, I trust your judgment. And Yellow Tent Shaver sort of stands up, puts the speech down, folds, sort of is a sort of like a sort of like in a folder, folds it very carefully, and stands up to extends their hand to each one of you. Starting with I think Indro's probably the closest. Do you shake?
Yeah. Andrew shakes it, and it's firmer than it would have been before. It's a little more emphatic. Like he's trying to he's looking up at them and into both compound eyes and making eye contact.
That and Yellow Tent Shaver sort of nods and an appreciation, goes over to Dog and is looking for like a hand to shake.
Yeah,
But does go ahead.
it's like a little probe.
And Yellow Tent Shaver does extend their hand to the probe and shakes it, which sort of, in a way, also trying to sort of demonstrate non-verbally that they're not trying to like big bug you. They're trying to meet you with gratitude.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. And then goes over to Guy and sort of like tries to, kneels down as best as they can in their very tall, wettened form to shake Guy's hand.
Yeah, and Guy gives a child handshake, which is weaker than you would think. And, too small hand, particularly given that Waytons are like 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Witten, the Yellow
vary.
Tent Shaver, despite having giant wettened hands and being tall, is a very practiced handshaker and like feels a good firm pressure, not too hard, but has shaken enough like humanoid child hands to have been practiced this a bit.
Yeah. And I am going to use the power murder. So
Oh, that's interesting.
Yep. So the power murder
Whoa.
is this is the power murder. So Ian, we're gonna do a little sidebar right now.
Cool. Sidebar.
So the plot that I'm hatching is we've established that I have poison on me, given that I made a poison sensor beep really fucking loud earlier, many times to annoy as many people as possible. So I obviously have this poison. It is a dilute Pazuzuni alamandite waste snail slime. Usually this would be an instant kill. It has been diluted so that it is a delayed action kill. And I am essentially going to apply this to the inner part of the bug hand, like the fleshy part of the bug hand. So it will enter their bloodstream with my because I'm wearing a spacesuit. I have a beloved hand. I wear this spacesuit all the time. It's my uniform. And so it has been discreetly applied to just like this part, so that when we do the handshake, touches the right part and will cause a poisoning that will not be visible for another, let's say, 16 hours? Is that what we have?
Yes, it's not the way the standard power works, but for the sake of a stream in the narrative, we have that Yellow Tent Shaver has been sort of, the poison has been administered. I don't know if it was injected or some other way, but in about 16 hours or so, Yellow Tent Shaver will succumb to this poison.
Yeah. Well, so I have to burn some grit and roll combat.
We all have to pretend like you didn't do this.
Well, you don't know I'm doing this.
No,
Sure.
like I have to pretend.
Yes. Well, I mean, you don't know. Your character doesn't know that I'm doing this.
Yeah, but Jeff has to pretend, and Ethan has to pretend.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's called role playing.
Yeah, I've never done it before.
Yeah, what is that?
Okay, so
The irony, when you're done with this, the irony being, I will tell you then what Antro's move is after.
that's so great.
Yes.
Cannot wait to find it. I'm wondering if that redacted thing that I'm not allowed to read has my name in it anywhere. I've been wondering it. Do you want me to wait to roll combat until 16 hours from now, or do you want me to just do this right now?
I think we should do this right now to see if you roll a 1, something bad happens.
You make them stronger.
That's so true.
The
Yeah,
poison
no,
axe in
I
reverse.
didn't test this against Waitons. Oh no!
It
No,
makes
he's
him a super soldier.
6 stories
Just
tall.
fucking get stronger. It's like the meme. Stop praying for my grandpa. You made him too strong or something. He just.
Oh, that's great.
So basically, we're having you roll even though for the sake of narrative we want this to work, but we do want to roll just to make sure, like, if it's a 1, we'll come up with something doesn't. Maybe the consequences with the 1, it just doesn't work.
I mean, it definitely doesn't work if it's a 1. So yeah, I'm burning 15 grit.
Okay, so that's a sizable portion of grit.
Yeah, I now have 5 grit left. I have burned almost all of my grit over the last very long couple days that we've been working. And that means for every 5x I spend, they have a -1 on their rolls. That would be a -3 to this resist roll against my D12 plus, and
D12 poison hands.
I'm going to burn another 3 on this combat roll.
Jesus.
Now you have 2 grit.
That's
really want to kill this guy.
Well, I'm glad that I did that because I got a 5.
All right, and does Yellow Tent Shaver have to roll anything against this, or?
Yes, it's a D move or D will to resist, depending on the nature of the attack, stabbing or poison. So,
I guess
I think it's sort of dealer's choice, right? Because it's like probably D will.
They're the same number, so it doesn't really matter.
Great.
So if Yellow Tent Shaver, let's see if Yellow Tent Shaver.
I have a suggestion. You should hide it. Oh, okay, never mind.
Ooh.
I was gonna say you should hide it, and then we find out at the later episode. But you did it already.
Yeah, I think you're gonna find out later. You're definitely gonna find out later.
And they already have a -3 to that roll anyway.
Okay. Yeah. A nice, firm, and completely unassuming handshake with a big smile.
Doesn't even notice anything wrong. Frankly, there's, Yellow Tent Shaver as a practiced, as a sort of experienced shaker of the hands of small children, knows that sometimes the hands of small children can be a little bit sticky, and so doesn't think anything of it.
That's right. Particularly begloved hands.
Yes.
I wore the gloves for a reason. It was so that the inside hands didn't get sticky.
Right. So you have... Guy has successfully poisoned Yellow Tent Shaver, who will succumb to the poison in 16 hours.
Yeah, now nobody can shake my hand until I wash it. So if I touch anyone, they die.
Well, Dog and Indro don't know this.
It was nice of you to shake.
I can be poisoned though.
But
yeah, so after this, Andrew is reaches up and clasps him on his big shoulder, the pad that is covering their joints on the side, usually on their wet clothing, and just pats him, and then sort of like quietly. This is I don't know how to roll for this is the action that was going to happen anyway. But I don't know how to roll for whether he touches the hand or not accidentally, because he, in a way that, he deftly, he is a security officer, so he at the very least knows how to, do this sort of like, spy-y sort of hook, palm to palm, it passes off a small pieces of paper.
So you passed off a small piece of paper to Yellow Tent Shaver.
Yeah, Yellow Tent Shaver, in a way that no one else sees.
I think it's wild that it ended up I was the only one who didn't have a secret. I won the idealism thing.
Yes.
You've won so far. There's still a final session where
Still plenty of time to be jaded.
You don't even
Yeah.
know what my secret is,
No,
or
I
if I
don't.
even have one. Maybe I'm just a psychopath.
Maybe you're just mad about not getting to eat. You're just mad that you didn't get a meal, and you're like, I can't believe he made me skip lunch. I'm gonna kill this fucking supervisor. And you
Okay,
kill.
I'm gonna admit that's my secret. I'm
Okay.
angry.
That guy was just hangry and decided to murder the head of state.
But yeah,
over it.
yeah. That's
It's like those
that's the
Snickers
reason.
commercials, like "Don't let hunger happen to you."
Yeah.
It's murdered.
And then that is that lady who's like hugging the guy with the poison.
Yeah.
And for the reality show.
Awesome. Did you want to put like the note in the chat, or is it just like the insight is basically the same thing?
The insight is basically the same thing. It's shortened up with some, it says YTS, DW, Daywatch, DWC, WCO, HCO, and it just says really, really hastily underneath it. It just says trust no one.
And Yellow Tent Shaver
Irony.
looks at this and just sort of nods and folds up the paper and puts it like in the sort of pocket of
quietly
their-
behind. Yeah,
just quietly behind, and sort of says, "If you don't mind, I have plenty to do, and I believe I will see you all at Kantara Station."
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds great.
And you walk out of Yellow Tent Shaver's house as the sort of day cycle begins on YTS Day.
Do we take a rest, or do
Um,
we?
at this point we've been up for days.
That
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
like, are you asking like as characters or as like the stream? Because I think the
No,
stream
as
is.
characters.
Oh, we're done for the screen.
Yeah, no,
no,
I think we finished the story. Are we regaining pool before the next one?
Pure
That's
mechanical
what I wanna-
question.
Yeah, do we
Because
have
for
5
the
hours?
listeners, when you rest for 5 hours, you recover D move plus D will plus your level pool, split between health
Thanks.
and
That
grit
was
as you like.
insightful and educational.
Yes. I will say that what we might do off screen is just have your characters look this preliminary and see how far the other team gets along and where the last confrontation is. We'll say that basically if you find a place to sleep, we'll say you find a place to sleep and you can regain pool.
Well, yeah. So we have an apartment.
Yes. So
it's filled with dog, but we can go there.
Yeah,
we'll say you head back to the apartment and you can recover pool there for when this team reconvenes in the final episode of this assassination vacation.
Yes.
Assassination vacation destination vocation.
All right. Thank you for coming to the stream, everyone.
Yes,
Yeah.
thanks everyone. Don't forget to follow Stillfleet on Patreon, and also really important, if you're watching the stream and you haven't done so already, go to the Kickstarter for our project. You can just find it through the Stillfleet sort of Kickstarter page, and be sure to follow the project Qadida. That gives us a good sense that the project has enough interest, so that way we can make sure that we are publishing things in a responsible fashion and that people can be fairly compensated for their work.
That is kickstarter.com/projects/wife/Qadida-spy-spy-filled-stillfleet-gazetteer.
Super helpful.
Super helpful. But
Gotta say, Guy, you got me so good.
A key thing is to go to the link and to click that little follow button. It will give you an email for when Qadida becomes available. It doesn't commit you to buy anything or a tier immediately. But it does help us move our project forward.
It's super helpful for marketing. Please do it.
Yes, it is the easiest way to help for marketing. It is low effort on your part, but does a lot for us. It is low effort and high reward.
You also get to read a fun book.
You also get to read a fun book.
With cool art.
Yeah.
With very cool art.
Who does that art?
Why? It is Andrew Hall, Ethan Gualdini, who does the arts. The art is does.
And I don't want to do too many art spoilers, but there is an extremely cool truck coming your way.
I'm really proud of where the truck is
going. I
going.
have not seen the truck yet.
If we've got time, are we ending the stream? I can. Oh yeah, thanks. Also, you can find progress of that art and other kinds of art on at Spectral House on Instagram.
Is the truck on there?
The truck is gonna be on there on Friday or Saturday.
I'm excited for the.
But
truck.
if we have time, I can pull it up right now and show the stream. You know what? Go to Instagram at Spectral House. You'll see it then. I don't want to keep people.
Yes. But the Worshipful team should be coming. They have a preliminary scheduled date for Sunday. But we will also try to update folks as best we can for when that one is scheduled. And then we are also trying to schedule our final summit, like the summit of our venture here.
The decisive showdown, if you will.
Yes. All right.
At least one person's going to die because that happened this session.
That's exciting.
At least one person's going to die. The question is going to be who gets blamed. Bum, bum, bum. All right.
If the poison is in his system, would the biochemical scanners pick it up?
That is not my decision to make.
No, this is a question. I just it's just something I wondered.
All right.
I mean, it would be really convenient if the person who poisoned this politician was also the person who set up the poison senators.
Right.
Super convenient.
Super convenient. All right, but thanks to all of our players, all of our viewers on Twitch and elsewhere, and all of our viewers in different time who are watching this in the future on YouTube.
Okay.
We love all of you.
Bye.
Make sure to microwave a Ron DeSantis action figure.
Yes, do that.
Hail Satan. Oh, right. We're on YouTube. Whoops.
Yeah. Okay, bye.